And welcome to the Krueg Show, everybody. Larry Krueger, Dan Coach Emilio with you
Crank up the
after
band.
Monday Night Football. And yes, where is our band? There we go. And now we get it rolling on Monday Night Football, after Monday Night Football. Before we get into anything, big thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics for being a sponsor of the show today. And if you are an occupational therapist or an orthopedic surgeon, a chiropractor, or a physical therapist of any kind, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice, and it can greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics, they use computer vision and artificial intelligence, and they provide a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and telehealth environments. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. For more information, go to their website. It's telmetrics.co, Telmetrics.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and all the people at Telmetrics for being sponsors of the Krueg Show. All right, we come to you after Monday Night Football. 31-14. Dallas put one on Tampa. Is this the end of the road for Tom Brady? Looked like a terrible ending with Russell Gage being carted off the field with a neck injury. We'll update you on that. We all, after watching Damar Hamlin go down, you realize how much risk these players, how much they risk each and every snap. That's just the reality. And tonight, Russell Gage went down, looked like a neck. We'll see, if we get an update here on his condition. But it was a night that was defined by what Dallas's kicker wasn't able to do, and that's Brett Maher. If you missed this game, they say if you watch sports every day, you'll see something you've never seen before. Brett Maher, the Dallas Cowboys kicker, in a game where Dallas was totally dominant, missed 4 PATs, and then he had missed one last week, so his last one. So he had a stretch where he missed 5 PATs, 5 extra points in a row. I mean, this is unbelievable. He did make one, though.
Yeah, try moving it to the middle of the field instead of the left hash each time. Straight on,
I'm not going to tell him how to do his job. I don't want him coming on the Krueg Show telling us how to read chats. No, but I hear what you're saying, Danny. I mean, try something new. Do whatever you got to do.
Yeah,
but
I mean, that's an easy hash to make as a right footed
Maybe
kicker.
It's too easy. Maybe it's just too easy.
But right down the middle, I mean, you should be able to control the ball 35 yards down the middle.
The amazing thing about it is that 55-yard field goals
great.
On grass fields in outdoor conditions are still, like, NFL kickers make those at a pretty high rate.
I know.
You know what I mean? Unless you get a block, I mean, those guys make those a lot. It's not that rare to see somebody hit a 55-yard field goal, it seems like.
Yeah.
But, sometimes the short ones, you just kind of wonder if it's timing and this and that. But anyway, Dallas gets the win. Dalton Schultz got the first touchdown to make it 6-0. Now we're going by sixes. Dak Prescott had the 1-yard touchdown plunge to make it 12-0. Schultz got a second touchdown and that Prescott was after a 15-play drive, by the way. And then the next drive was an 11-play drive. Schultz with an 11-yard touchdown reception to make it 18-0. Michael Gallup had a 2-yard score in the back of the end zone that was really pretty. 24-0 at that point. Julio Jones got Tampa on the board with a touchdown that looked like he may have juggled it, but that made it 24-6. And then Tampa gets one late touchdown to make it 31-14. Or I should say Dallas got one more touchdown to make it 31, and then Tampa got one more to make it 14. So a couple things in this game stood out. One, looked like Micah Parsons, Danny, hit his thigh pretty hard in that first half, and I wonder how that's going to feel. The health of Micah Parsons, because he's a monster. And to me, what stands between the Niners and moving on? It's Micah freaking Parsons, who's going to be all over Brock Purdy, and he's the kind of fast, smothering athlete that may be able to, really bother Purdy and persuade him not to run as much as he has. But, It's interesting. Dallas had 0 sacks of Tom Brady and only 1 quarterback hit with like 9 minutes left in the third quarter. So it wasn't like they were just putting crazy rush up front. Jaron Kearse had that pick in the end zone. It just seems to me, Dan, and I talked to you guys about this weeks ago. Tom Brady and Mike Evans don't seem like they're on the same page. I don't know what's going on there. Evans has got great ball skills. He's a big receiver. Brady obviously has had really good accuracy throughout his career, but the vibes between those two have been bad. The misconnections, the miscommunications. There was a play today where it should have been a touchdown. Brady didn't make the play. Who knows whose fault it was? These guys, say whatever you want, they're not on the same page.
Yeah. Brady, I mean, he just didn't look good all year. This was had to be his worst season as a professional. And I don't know if it's father time catching up to him or if it's just the lack of cohesiveness on the offense. But that is a really poor looking offense. I mean, it just is bad. They
only scored 30 twice this year.
Yeah. I mean, they were really, really bad. And, a lot of Brady's throws tonight and some of the other games are just like off. I mean, lots short in the dirt. Earlier in the year, he struggled with the deep pass, overthrowing it. And then the last 3-4 weeks or so, he started hitting the long ball again. And I thought, oh, here, getting ready for the playoffs. But, you put a rush. That's why I was pulling for Tampa Bay, because the Niners are so quick defensively. And Dallas, to me, is the team that's most like the Niners defensively. And that's the one concern I had in facing Dallas is they've got playmakers on both sides of the ball. And so whenever you have playmakers, anything can happen. I mean, Dallas has CeeDee Lamb. They have the tight end. They have the 2 backs, Pollard and Zeke, and Dak is mobile. So I think Dallas poses the biggest threat to the Niners so far, other than the Chiefs that they face this year. This will be the second best team they faced all year. Are they up for the task? Absolutely. But and they know it. They know it. So I think they'll come out knowing they've got to play a great game. And you just don't know what team Dallas is going to show up. Are they going to have, the stinker that showed up against Washington and blew the game against Jacksonville? Or is it going to be what we saw tonight and what we saw them do to Minnesota earlier in the year? You don't know. And so
they're a Jekyll and Hyde team.
Yeah.
Here are their losses this year. Dallas lost to Tampa week 1, 19-3. Isn't that ironic? I mean, they end Tampa's year and then they started the year by losing to Tampa. They lost at Philly in week 6, 26-17. They lost at Lambeau in week 10 in a really good game. I remember that one, 31-28 in overtime. And then they lost in Jacksonville to the Jags. Jags ran for 7 yards a carry. They lost in overtime 40-34. And as you said, they kind of no-showed the Washington game in week 18. They lost 26-6. To me, Dallas was better before Anthony Brown went out. They lost the corner, and Deron Bland has got some good interception totals, but they miss Anthony Brown, I think, in that secondary. But it's and they don't have a second receiver. I mean, really, Dalton Schultz is their second receiver. If you look at the numbers, CeeDee Lamb caught 107 balls. He was far and away their number one guy. Averaged about 80 yards a game, 9 touchdowns. The number 2 receiver on the Cowboys was Dalton Schultz, 57 catches, 5 touchdowns. The thing about Dallas that's kind of intriguing as far as, kind of on a scary side is they got a lot of guys in their prime. Prescott's in his prime. So's Pollard. Elliott's only 27. CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz, Michael Gallup, Micah Parsons, Durant Armstrong, Donovan Wilson. I mean, these guys are all in the prime of their career. But yeah, I mean, if you lean your coverage towards CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup had 39 catches and 3 touchdowns this year. He's had some injuries. I guess he's healthy now. But I mean, their leading tackler is the safety, Donovan Wilson. Dan Quinn's the defensive coordinator. They run that 4-3, and Parsons is the strong side backer, and he had 13 and a half sacks. And he's just so quick back there, and he gets his hands on so many footballs. And then Armstrong had 8.5 sacks. And they've got other guys. I mean, this team's got Dante Fowler and other pass rushers besides that. So the thing that's interesting to me is that Pollard and Elliott, it looks like even though Elliott's kind of like the franchise back and makes all the cash, Pollard is really the guy. Pollard goes for 5.2 a carry. Elliott goes for 3.8 a carry. The thing that stands out to me, though, is that they've combined, Danny, for 0 fumbles. 0 on the year. So they don't cough it up. Now, Prescott has not been great. He only played 12 games, 66%, 23 touchdowns, 15 picks. But in the last 7 games, he's got 11 picks.
Wow.
So,
hey, and for those of you who are listening, you may want to, the line just came out.
What
DraftKings has the Niners plus 3.5. FanDuel has them plus 4. I think that's going to jump. I thought it would be 5 because Cincinnati Buffalo is 5. And I thought, if you, what they're saying really at 4 or 3.5, that on a neutral field, the Niners are only like a half or 1 point favorite. That seems a little low to me. I thought it would be plus 5 Niners. I think if you're going to bet on it, I would jump on the Niners right now at 3.5 or 4.
Interesting that as soon as the spread came out, Rye popped into the studio like he was waiting for the number before committing to any commentary tonight. What if we were that on the gambling tip? Rye did not want to commit to any points until he heard the spread. What's up, Rye? What'd you think? The Monday night game, Dallas. I told everybody. I was rooting for Tampa because I didn't, I hate Dallas. But I really thought Dallas was better. And I said, go with the under. And it wound up at 45. What was the over under? Do we know?
I think it was 45.5. I think that Mike Evans.
It was under by a half.
Mike Evans drop.
My gosh.
Or kind of Tom Brady missed pass. But
there you go. I had it all the way.
Hey, and the 2-point conversion, they won by 17. So the Niners had the biggest spread in the weekend at 18. So
that was huge for me because I I tried not to. I've been on a little bit of a heater this playoff round, and I was like, you know what? I mean, we were talking about it a little bit last night, but it's like Dallas or Saturday night, Dallas. If you look at right, and I heard you running down their games, Larry. There's kind of a conception that they were maybe limping down the stretch, or they really have played in. 2 of their losses were in overtime. They've pretty much been in every single game except for week 1 versus the Bucs, and I just don't really count that. And then the last week of the season versus the Commies, and I don't really count that either. So I just didn't understand why this line was staying at 2.5. And the only thing anybody could say is just, well, the Cowboys, the Cowboys DNA, they're going to botch it. Tom Brady, the ultimate, he's going to pull it out of his ass. And honestly, did you guys not? So I put a big bet on Dallas minus 2.5, but then I was like, there's no way. Tom Brady's definitely coming back, right? He's coming back to some extent. So I put a bunch on Tampa to win the second half. So they were down 18 at the end of at the end of the half. So that 2-point conversion just clutched me. It went from 19 to 17. And so I was able to win that one too. But didn't it feel like though, Maher, are they going to cut the man? Like that's when I was like, oh my God, I got to bet on the Bucs. Cause it was just one of those things where it's like, no effing way. After he missed the 4th one, it's like, no, this is coming back in play somehow.
Yeah. It was wild.
That was wild. Yeah.
I mean, Dallas, I'll say this about Dallas. What really stood out to me in this game, and I don't know how you guys felt about it, but what really jumped out to me was that Dallas's offensive line looked really good. Like, they controlled things. And Tyler Smith, the left tackle of the rookie from Tulsa, the first-round pick, he looks phenomenal. And then you've got Connor McGovern at left guard. You got Beatis at center from Wisconsin, who's dinged up and hurt. You got the all-pro right guard and Zach Martin. And then you got Tyron Smith in there at right tackle. I don't know. I mean, it's a group that has a lot of, Smith was a 1. Martin was a 1, Tyler Smith was a 1. You got 3 number 1 picks on that line. And to me, this is where this Niner Cowboy thing is going to get decided.
Yeah,
it's the Niner defensive front against those guys.
Yeah. Before you came on, right, I said, I think this is the Niners' toughest game.
I heard you say that. Yeah, you said it was the second, and I can't really disagree with that.
This is the team that I wouldn't say I'm fearful of them, but it's the team that gives me a little bit of concern because of
they could beat the Niners. They could beat them.
Yeah. They are, and they are they have playmakers all over. And to me, that's what, when you have playmakers at different skilled positions, it gives a team so much more opportunity. But I do think the Niners are totally going to be prepared for it. I look for some trap plays to come and pulling traps on Parsons with, whether it be Burford or Williams, some type of kick out trap running across, and look for some of those holes, maybe some draw plays to keep Parsons from just rushing in like a madman through, some screen passes to McCaffrey that Purdy might have to throw sidearm or something. I think they might go at Parsons to get him off his game, because what he showed tonight, they couldn't stop him. And to stop him, you have to keep him. You got to keep a guy like that who, not going forward, but kind of backpedaling or standstill. So I look for the Niners, Kyle, to draw some plays up that are going to go right at Parsons.
I mean, as long as Bosa plays them to a draw, Niners are fine.
Did you guys check out the box at all from the box score?
What, just Brady had an insane amount of passing yards?
Or pass attempts. Yeah. 35 of 66.
66. Well, they can't run the ball.
They had no offensive balance, and they had no offensive balance in the Niner game either. 66 passes, 12 runs.
Well,
he had 90 yards at halftime.
Rashad White had almost 6 yards a carry, but he only got 7 carries.
If Tom Brady was he was the quarterback, but if there was a different name on his jersey, everybody would have said Tampa is not a playoff team, doesn't have a chance. Just because he had Brady on it, but he played like somebody else's nameplate was on his back. But because of it's Tom Brady, you have this, oh no. I mean, did you even think like we got the onside kick? Like, oh gosh, there's even a possibility because it's Brady.
I personally didn't, but I know what you're saying. Tom Brady, I mean, Father Time is undefeated, as they say, right? I mean, Tom Brady is the modern day George Blanda or something, and modern day Billy Kilmer. I mean, he's one of these guys that he made a late career thing look like. I mean, he's played 10 years beyond what I thought he would play. I thought he'd be done at 35. He's 45.
Yeah. If he doesn't make the playoffs next year or retires, he'll go down with this stat. His first playoff game, he was shut out, and he was never shut out again until tonight in the first half. So he first playoff game and last playoff game shut out first half.
How about this one? This just seems insane to me. So he got to the Bucks when he was 43. If you include playoffs, he's the all-time leading passer in the history.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Over Winston. Verdi or who?
Over Winston.
Over Winston.
Oh, Jameis Winston. Wow. Well, all the modern passers.
Yeah, I think he's not going to go out like this. It kind of sucks because last year would have been a not bad time to go out when they made that pretty awesome comeback versus the Rams.
The Rams, yeah.
But now I feel like he has to go find a different situation.
Oh, he's not going back to Tampa. I can't see him going back to Tampa, because if he goes back to Tampa, it's either going to be a new coach or Todd Bowles again. I can't see that.
No. So
Let's hit a couple super chats here. Gammon Brown says 49ers, Kings, and Giants winning it all this year.
49ers, New York Giants? No way. They're not.
LA
New York
Kings?
Giants,
How are the LA Kings
New York
looking?
Giants have no shot at well, they
can't
do, but I
Niners
don't see
and
the New York Giants getting it done. He's not talking about the San Francisco Giants, is he?
Yeah, he's talking about the San Francisco Giants.
No way. Save your $2. Give him his $2 back. That's come on. Come on, Gammon.
Come on.
Oh.
Abu Marco 23 says Jason Peters, Jerron Curse, Dorrance Armstrong all left the game injured. I did see that. Something to monitor. Peters is eternal. I mean, he's forever old. And Armstrong limped off at the end there.
If Curse isn't able to go, that would.
What's the scariest part of the Cowboys in your guys' thoughts?
I mean, the question I ask myself is what makes them different this year than every other year? And I guess the only thing you could maybe say is Pollard gives them another dimension, and they kind of have their physical back in Elliott, and then they've got their playmaker in Pollard. I kind of like that they're using him more. And then the second thing is just what you're saying, Larry, like the fact that like their team was so dependent on Tyron Smith for so many years. And I remember seeing the stats, like they were just a god awful team without him. You know, Zeke Elliott was horrible without him. And I think just the fact that their rookie Tyler Smith got thrust into action, and now all of a sudden it's like Tyron Smith can play right tackle. I mean, that changes things a little bit, but ultimately, I don't think this is a tough team. I don't think they're tough. And I think that Mike McCarthy's going to have a really stupid looking face as they blow the game.
I hope so. And I hope what I put out tonight, I hope Fox Sports puts out, I hope the Niners crush the Cowboys and they go to Jerry Jones every time the Niners score, because I got sick of that tonight. Looking at Jerry Jones and his family whooping it up every time the Cowboys did something good. I mean, is there an owner that gets more coverage than Jerry Jones?
Gosh. No, I mean, but is there
Jerry
a team coverage?
I mean, he you know, he's at the combine sitting in an empty stadium, and he hands his son his glasses to clean them off, and it goes viral.
Jeez,
you know, I mean, it's just like the guy's one of a kind. I think the scariest part about Dallas is just the total speed and domination of Micah Parsons. I just think that he's so incredible. I saw him at Penn State. He was great, but he's greater now.
I send Trent Williams at him on a sweep and just get Trent going and just like send him a 4 or 5 yards flying.
Did they have Trent last year in the Dallas game?
No, they did not.
No, he was hurt. They were going with Colton, I think. McKivitz. But
that's
what worries. To me, Dallas is also a team that if they get a big lead on you, they could put a ton of heat on Purdy, and it could be a long day because Diggs and Bland and Curse and these guys jump routes. Malik Hooker, he jumps routes. Mukuamu, who played at South Carolina, they got him playing safety. He's a big corner who's moved inside, so he's got coverage ability. I mean, they've got some interesting players on the back end who can pick the ball off. If they can get a lead, they can dial up some pretty good pass rush up front because you got Sam Williams, you got Dante Fowler Jr., you got Dorrance Armstrong, the UCLA kid, 97 is a pass rusher. DeMarcus Lawrence. I mean, God knows DeMarcus Lawrence is a good pass rusher. And then you got Parsons. They can blitz Barr. I mean, they have a lot of bodies up front that they can send at the quarterback if they get a lead. I'm banking that the Niners can run on them.
Yeah,
because I kind of wish this were in Dallas to some degree because that surface is a little bit the better team, I think, is rewarded on the faster surface. And I think the 49ers are the better team this year. But it's going to be how well do the Niners run it, and can they stop Pollard and Zeke? If they can stop Pollard and Zeke, I'll take my chances. Dallas is a one wide receiver. I mean, I don't want to say that because Gallup's actually good.
Gallup's pretty good.
Yeah.
Gallup's good. Gallup's
say,
good. He's just never healthy.
Yeah.
So they've been a one wide receiver team most of the year. But Gallup is still a threat. But like Noah Brown's not a burner, and they don't have the kinds of weapon depth that the Niners have. So
Schultz is really good.
Schultz is really good. But I mean, I'll take my chances with Jimmy Ward or the Niner linebackers. I mean, Dre Greenlaw was running with Tyreek Hill. So I think he could probably do okay against Dalton. But yeah, Dalton Schultz making a homecoming. He's a terrific receiver and he's fast. So,
oh, by the way, the chat did correct us. Trent Williams did play against Dallas. He missed the Rams game.
There you go.
He was still.
I don't think he was 100% against he was having that ankle. That high ankle was bothering him. He wasn't, top shape. They also didn't have CMC. Now they've got, CMC and Debo and Ayuk.
The Niners are a better team. I also like the psychology of, similar to how I like the psychology of the Cowboys losing that final week of the season heading into this Bucs game. I like the way it's setting up where they were the one team this weekend that had the comfortable win, pretty much were comfortable the entire time. Now they're rolling into San Francisco. San Francisco is going to feel like, they know that Seattle.
One thing.
Hey, but hold on a second, Danny. It's super chat time. There we go. One more. Actually, one more. There you go. That's Val Ramos. It says Jim Everett is a joke. Okay. Remember the Chris Everett?
Oh yeah.
Jim Everett was pretty good at Purdue.
We actually got another super chat right there too.
Here, let me call up the supers so
That's
we don't miss any. We got Brandy. He says, do you think the 49ers will force a pick six? I'm a little concerned. I have to admit. Gammon Brown, we'll do these in order. Parsons, number 11, is just on another level this year compared to last year. Lamb didn't even need to contribute. Dakota loves his tight ends. Both kickers vulnerable.
Who's Dakota?
You're calling Robbie Gold vulnerable? He's
never
an 18-year vet. I don't know if he's
never missed
in the playoffs.
I wouldn't call him vulnerable unless this is some kind of superstars competition I'm unaware of. Eric Nelson makes a donation. Krueg on Channel 2 talking Brock Purdy from his car. Why? Because LK is the go-to expert on all things Brock Purdy. Yeah, I did a little TV hit today.
That's awesome.
How embarrassing was this? They asked me to do it, and then they're like, hey, do you want to come in or do you want to do a Zoom? And I'm like, I got a bunch of things going on today, so why don't we try a Zoom? And then my wife told me to go get something from the store, and the phone rang. They're like, oh, are you ready to go on? And I'm like, oh. So I just pulled over and held up the phone and did the Channel 2 News report from a parking lot in Walnut Creek.
You didn't give like a traffic report while you were driving?
No. I did a live stream with Lo Neal. I did a live stream with Lo Neal earlier today, and he was driving the whole time. The recovery 716. Ayuk cooked Diggs last year. Ain't worried. I like the confidence.
Also, the other thing
I think to use cooked more because I do like the way that sounds.
Kind of ruined it.
What's the one you like to use on the throws? What's it called? Flung it or no? What do you say? Fling it? What do you say?
Me or right?
Yeah, you, Larry.
Fling it?
No, you say
sling it.
No, I can't. Now I can't remember it. Shoot, you have one.
Damn it! Think
maybe it's with an H. He
dig in there.
Hoisted. That's it.
Hoisted. You got a lot
from 3. Yeah, that's. I'm thinking of. I think of Clay, who did not play tonight. We'll talk about the Warriors a little bit later on.
Yeah, when we get to the rest of the NFL playoffs, I have a rant I'm saving.
Okay,
ooh, look at you. You're saving it.
Yeah.
Vicky Pelich. The Niners will neutralize Micah Parsons and win 31-20.
That sounds pretty accurate.
Vicky Pelich knows her shit. All right.
I mean, here's the other thing. Dak didn't turn the ball over.
She knows it.
Dak didn't turn the ball over today. Let me run through his picks or his turnovers in all the other games.
Okay.
Whoa.
Wait a second.
Whoa.
Don't put it up yet. I've got this one I want to put up because Danny, you'll enjoy this. Paul Perriman. Larry, do some complaining about the San Francisco Giants. It's too early in the show. There's too many people in the chat.
Yeah. You got to see the next. You got to see that. You got to put up the super chat by Malay.
I know it's coming. I see it.
Oh
there
my
on the board.
goodness!
I'm just trying to work down naturally.
Oh,
look at Malay.
Well, Malay,
big baller, shot caller. Where is it?
Every 1,000 subs, he puts in. I know
that's the thing. I don't think he was. Yeah, we had 24 hours. We got 1,000, which is a pretty rough deal.
I mean, first that might be worth audience applause. Wait a second. Dan, can we see your hands? There we go. Those are monster hands, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
All right. But once again, Jim Malay. Sometimes when you're just guys, you just go Jimmy Mole.
Do you have any of those? Do you have any of the Krueg Show T-shirts in right now?
They are in at Caceres in Dublin.
All right. Here's what we're going to do.
I'm about to pick up a slew of them, like 60 or 70.
Anybody who matches.
People who have contacted me.
Anybody who matches Malay tonight with that donation, we'll give you a shirt.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely. If anybody wants to match, you call your size. I don't care if you're big baller shot caller and you need a triple XL. I'll go there with you. We'll bring you the triple XL. All right. Jim Malay says, damn, boys, Krueg Show just racking up subs. Here's to another 1,000 subs and to a great Niner win. Crush the Cowboys. There you go.
Let's go, Jimmy.
Jimmy says he's a large.
Really quick, I just want to make everyone feel good about Dak coming into Levi's. So he didn't turn the ball over today. These are his previous games, though. Week 18, he had 1 pick. Week 17, 2 picks. Week 16, 1 pick. Week 15, 2 picks. Week 14, 2 picks. Week 13, 1 pick. Week 12, 2 picks. No picks for the Vikings when they won 40-3, but it wasn't competitive. Then the previous game versus Green Bay, 2 picks. Then versus Chicago, a pick. And then Detroit, the game when he got injured, he didn't have a pick, but he didn't play the whole game. And then first game of the season, he threw a pick. So he basically has thrown at least 1 pick in every
single. You smell a Hufanga pick coming or Gibson?
Basically, what you're saying is Tayshaun Gibson. Oh, wait. No. Tayshaun Gibson. There you go.
I think Hufanga comes up with one. It's been a while.
Hufanga?
He hasn't had one for a while.
You're saying that these guys are going to pick balls out of the sky. Yeah, I think there's a good chance.
Hopefully some tip balls or
Prescott's
whatever.
Going to throw some picks. Gibson and Hufanga are going to have a
field. Should be pretty good condition. The weather's supposed to improve after Wednesday, I think, right? So we should have.
By the way, I heard a lot of people pissed off, like nationally, like people that bet the game were like, "What the hell? What a crock of shit!" All the meteorologists said that it was going to be crazy rain, and then it was just fine the whole game. But we were there. It started dumping the second the game ended. It turned into a storm. It was crazy.
Yeah. And it was before the game. That tells you how good the drainage is at that stadium.
Yeah,
because the water went right through the surface. I mean, you didn't see standing water like you did at Soldier Field, and yet before the game it rained for hours. And after the game, as you said, I mean, the skies just opened. It was like sheets of water. I mean, it was to look up into the sky and as we're doing the post game and watch the water coming down. I mean, it was pretty awesome. I mean, somebody, I got to give, somebody in the radio world a little credit. They offered me a couple tickets to the game. That tells you that, people wanted to get out. And I was thinking for the first time, maybe I'll go sit in the seats. And I'm like, today of all days is the press box day.
Oh, so, yeah.
I mean, I stayed warm in the press box eating my chicken nuggets that were, been warmed since last Thursday, and they were warm. They were warm.
Yeah. One factor, I don't know how much of a factor it'll be, but either way, it's still, I think there's a benefit to the Niners. The Niners are going to have 8 days between games and the Cowboys 6. So I think
absolutely that's huge advantage.
And they don't have to travel.
Right. So, but Cowboys are going to be coming in focused with a kind of house money. They're going to lay it all out.
Though, Dan, the way Troy Aikman was talking about it, it made me happy as a Niner guy. He was saying, when you're part of this franchise, there's so much pressure to make, your imprint on the Dallas Cowboys history. Yeah. And, they established a precedent where it's not just winning a divisional game versus a grandfather. It's you got to keep going. And he said that the pressure is going to increase for them with each round. So
all right, my buddy Jimmy Shapiro has sent me the official numbers. It is Niners minus 3.5 over under 46. 46. What do you guys think when you hear that spread?
I think it's going to be over. I think it's going to be somewhere in the I think 34-24, something like that. Niners. Maybe 34-20.
Niners have been scoring about 35 a game with Brock Purdy. And I don't know, is there any advanced forecast? I mean, is it going to be a dry day?
It's supposed to be dry. But I think this type of game, because Dallas can put up points, I think that, Kyle's going to be more aggressive on those fourth down when it's 4th and 3, 4th and 4, and they're on Dallas's 38 yard line. I think they're going for it.
I get this vague recollection. I don't know if anybody can look this up. Is there a way to look this up, Rye? What time the 1981 Cowboys-Niners, Joe Montana rolls right, finds Dwight Clark in the back of the end zone, what time that game started? Because I could swear it's the same as this year, that it was like a 3:30 start.
I think it was a 1 o'clock.
Was it a 1 o'clock start?
Somebody just dropped the bag, by the way. That's what I'm.
What's that?
Oh, my God. Wait a second. The Recovery 716 makes a donation. Cowboys Niners bring up memories of those 90 playoff games, bringing back my nostalgia. So then I'm going down the chat here. And Danny asks, and Danny receives.
Wow. Gammon. Oh.
Wait a second. Do we have that? Right. That's that. Okay. Let me just get this down. Oh, look at Gammon Brown. $101 saying Mole, basically just saying, you know what? I'm the big you-know-what around here. Move aside, Jim Mole.
Oh.
You go $100. I'm going 101.
This comment gets me fired up, Larry. Read it.
Go ahead, read it. Read it for us.
Oh, okay. Peanuts type of money. I got the bag. Not only match, but best the super chat. If you're a Cowboys fan, you're headed down the wrong alley. Please, pretty please, keep the camera on Jerry Jones. Dak loves his tight ends. We can cover them. They copied some of our tosses versus the Bucs.
Look at that. The great Gammon Brown, ladies.
I feel like
yes,
part 2 to that essay, but I wonder if there's. I don't know.
Maybe
there's 102 coming, because that was Peanuts type of money.
He's got the bag, Danny.
Yeah, he's got the bag right now. What is the biggest donation we've ever had? 101. That's it, right?
No, I think we have
250.
During that crazy
run.
We
get a 250 one?
Yeah, somebody donated 250.
I think MF.
I think my MF.
What did you donate once? You were hitting hard back in.
There was a time when MF, he just kept talking about how he was winning so much money gambling, and he was just tossing cash.
He was peeling off bills.
Jim Millay says, "What's Gammon's shirt size?"
Oh, I know it's XX.
Oh, wait a second. You know who wants to join us? Talk amongst yourselves for a second. Baller has some thoughts he wants to jump in on.
All right, yeah, Baller.
Let's get Ballers.
Bay Area Baller.
Baller up there. I do got to say, I don't really understand the people positioning themselves. I get that everyone has to be so smart and have their own unique take, but people are already starting to position themselves as like, oh, come on with Brock Purdy. We really, this guy's he's not that good. It's the offense. And it's just like, why are you can't, this is not the time to hate when the man.
How about this right here? I know what you're saying. Dan Orlovsky ranks the quarterbacks. He is a former NFL backup quarterback, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't cover baseball, doesn't cover the NHL, never talks about the NCAA tournament, doesn't talk about the draft, doesn't talk baseball, basketball. He only talks football. He puts out a ranking on the show of the playoff quarterbacks. He lists Purdy 13th. And when it gets time for a comment on Purdy, he's like, I haven't seen that much of him. He's played. The guy's played 7 games.
How about the dime to Ayuk on the run?
Your job is to talk NFL football. If you haven't seen him, shame on you. They've played on national TV in their own window multiple times with Brock Purdy. What do you want? You want a personal invite? And he only ranked him in front of Skylar Thompson. He ranked Geno in front of him, Daniel Jones in front of him.
What about Huntley?
Huntley in front of him. I mean, unbelievable disrespect. I mean, that's the one thing I will absolutely just going to drive me crazy is all these people who went crazy touting the Jimmy G quarterback stat of what Shanahan's record was with Jimmy and without Jimmy. Are these same people are now saying, well, anybody can win in that Shanahan offense.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense.
Bunch of crap.
And in a way, it's re-triggering me because as a former Jimmy guy, I just got a lot of respect for anyone that's the quarterback on a team where they have a top 5 efficient offense. Like that's it's fine. I know Jimmy's Jimmy, but it is sort of those same arguments are now being used to Purdy, and it's like. How do you say that? But Shanahan has not won with anybody but Jimmy and Purdy.
He didn't do it with Hoyer, didn't do it with Beathard, didn't do it with Mullins. I mean, what are we talking about? I mean, literally, what are we talking about? Can we come up with a new way to disrespect Brock Purdy? The guy was a 4-year starter in the Big 12 and took Iowa State to 4 straight bowl games and was a national title contender his sophomore year and could have come out and probably been a 2nd or 3rd round pick. And said he stuck around for a couple years. People overlooked him in the draft, obviously, the Niners as well as everybody else, because they took him last, and they lucked out.
I actually saw Dan Orlovsky play. I had season tickets to UConn when I lived in Connecticut, their first year as under Division
Edsel?
1. What's that? Randy Edsel. Yeah, Randy Edsel was the coach. They weren't bad. And when I watched Orlovsky, I says, oh, wow. For UConn, this guy might make it in the NFL.
Yeah, no, he wasn't bad. Gammon Brown donates $2 more. He said, please randomly donate a shirt to MOD. Who's MOD?
No, he's being just, not only is he balling out, he's also just being a great guy. He's saying randomly donate a shirt to a mod. Like, don't worry, I don't need one. Go find a random moderator. And
look at Gammon. Gammon's just like,
let's just pick a member at random or something like that. Or just one of the OGs.
Ford Nenner Faithfuls donates $1.99. Says, "Oh my God, ticket prices just go up to 400 plus on level 4."
Yeah, they just jumped. You knew they were going to jump. Yeah,
is that what it is? You're sitting up top. It's $4.
I mean,
no.
I mean, you're talking about $1,000 before you eat anything, just to park, get there. Wow. People want to be there, man. It's the environment.
I love this. Just shout out MLK. Shout out. Shout out MLK.
Yeah.
There you go. Shout out to MLK.
MLK today. Day. Yeah, MLK Day today. I read or I heard a thing with Kyle. They asked him, might have been Mayoko that asked him, what are you doing as far as tonight watching the game? And he said they were put in plans. They watched film for both the Bucs and the Cowboys, and that Kyle would just probably watch the game like any normie on his TV. They had already done all the work, and then he says after the game, I'll probably put some more work in. Do you think? I mean, you'll never get the answer from him, but do you think a coach like that? Do you think they kind of like do it equally, or do you think they got a hunch? Like, I think we're going to put more time into Dallas. They don't.
I think they have a hunch. Because also they're probably like, we already played the Bucs. Like, we already have somewhat of a game plan for them.
I mean, in reality, I bet you anything, if we had all the knowledge and we could do a deep dive and get behind the scenes with the Niners, what you would find out is that they had 2 entire different plans already prepared, one for Dallas, one for Tampa, completely done. Like they had a full game plan for Tampa. They had a
Yeah.
full game plan for Dallas. And then it was just going to be about tinkering with it more and more and more. But, there's a lot of manpower that goes into these things, but, they can, the advantage is they just had Tampa.
I'm predicting Dre Greenlaw is going to come up really big and have a big game. He's going to have to be moving sideline to sideline with Pollard, and I'm sure Warner probably will pick up Pollard out of the backfield, won't he?
Absolutely. Or Greenlaw. Could be Greenlaw.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about two of the best backers in the game.
But
Sam
Warner's
Guile
really
says,
good coverage.
here's a donation. Cowboys are good. Why is the game in Santa Clara? There you go. Gammon Brown. Okay, wait, we had that one already. We got this one from Jaguayo, our buddy Jaguayo. Good evening, Jaguayo. He says Tampa D looks slow, especially Devin White. What do you say? Run at number 11? Oh, he's saying run at Parsons.
Yeah.
I got you.
Well, I think if you got Parsons and, at Parsons, if you got Trent Williams and a pulling Burford coming at him or Kittle coming off, Kittle loves to get in there and mix it up blocking. So,
yeah, I mean, what other like crazy edge rusher really dominated the 49ers in the Shanahan tenure?
Ballers in the house.
Oh, and he's got his hat with no curvature.
Hat.
No curve.
Hey, man. Some bills are meant to be curved. Some of them, they're flat bills, Dan.
Man, I am going to get me one of those monster big hats. One of those ones. I'm going to be.
No, I know. Yeah, Dan, I almost got you. I almost got you one of those for Christmas, and then
I am going to get one of those things and wear it, and it's going to be like.
It'd be like Yosemite Sam or something.
Baller, yeah. we liked, good seeing you, bro. Come in hot. What do you got? What are you fired up on without us leading you in any direction? Usually we make the people who jump into the chat adjust to us, but you know what? You're our friend, so just jump right in and give us what you're burning on.
Hey, I just finished up a show on my channel where we're talking Niners Seahawks and previewing Niners Cowboys. But fellas, I got to talk about Kyle Shanahan and this offense's performance, right? 9 offensive possessions, fellas. And I'm not counting the 3 plays they ran the clock out at the end of the game, 3 plays. 9 possessions. This 49er offense scored 8 times. That's 4 field goals, 4 touchdowns. Could have been a 5th touchdown if Ayuk holds onto that ball in the back of the end zone. But I thought Kyle Shanahan was in his bag, scheming it up, right? Brock Purdy's got wide open 20-yard dig routes running downfield. Ayuk's wide open, but Purdy's hitting them in stride. George Kittle's catching these deep digs. I thought it was a fantastic game plan. The run game was humming. We blocked it up well. Like Chris Berman says, you get a seal here, you get a seal there. And there were canals for McCaffrey to run through on a 68-yard run. Deebo Samuel had arguably one of his best games of the year, showed that he's still fast. He's still super physical. Jonathan Abram fired up the whole team by twisting Deebo's ankle late after the play. That was dirty. But that fired up the team, and they rallied behind it. Next defensive possession, Charles Omenihu's whacking a ball out. Fumble Ruski. Nick Bosa's diving on it. Game-changing, momentum-shifting play. And it was just a phenomenal win. Second half, the Niners tore it up. They were unstoppable.
25-0. Is that what it was in the second half?
Yeah.
They got a gimme 7 or whatever. 6.
MF says Bay Area Baller has great takes. Let's throw a little love to Baller.
Let's go, Baller.
From the Krueg Show. Check out Baller's channel. Subscribe right now. And we put the link right there in the chat. So we've got almost 1,000 people in the chat tonight. Things blowing up. So go, everybody find Baller's channel. And he's putting out great content. And we love having him here as well. We also got this one from Brandon, who makes a donation. All this Brock Purdy doubt is only going to push him to go further. It's going to make a good movie, Mr. Irrelevant, coming to a theater near you.
Guy? Whoever's doubting him isn't watching the game.
Seriously. I mean, if you're doubting him, you know what? I'm doubting you. Jet Black Threat makes a donation. I don't think the Cowboys can handle the 49ers run game. I don't think so either.
Yeah, you're going to see
remember this, folks. Jacksonville ran for 7-1 a carry. They don't have Christian McCaffrey or Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah.
Wade Falls makes a donation. 18 completions, everyone. A first down or touchdown.
Oh, yeah. Last Saturday, yeah.
Wow. Wow. Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that stat from Wade Falls. 18 completions were either a first down, baller, or a touchdown. The look on your face.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard that stat the other day. I was like, whoa.
Wow. I mean, I just love the fact that
Mikey 49ers subscribe to Baller. Look at that. You just did it.
That's big time. Thanks,
Mikey.
Fellas, you know what was refreshing to see was the chunk plays, right? It's like when 10 was back there, you got to go on these 20-yard drives where it's like you're chipping away at like 4-yard, 5-yard passes. Now you got Purdy and he's Kyle scheming it up. We're getting
30 yards.
Yard chunk plays down the field. You know, the rushing lanes have opened up. And Brock Purdy's improvisational skills, it's every week this guy just makes wow plays that
How
just
about the Ayuk?
your jaw on the floor.
Dude, the Ayuk play is one of the great plays in 49er playoff history. And he dropped it.
Dropped, you mean? Yeah. Yeah, that would have been unbelievable.
Gammon Brown says, here's a donation. He says, at Simonson76 asked, Cowboys? Good linebackers? We got this one from Aztec who says, Purdy was banging his chest like King Kong. Here we go. Look at this. Bomber T. I'm subbed to Baller shot caller. Chris Hansen just subbed.
I don't know if you want him subbing, but he's going to be there.
Excuse me, Baller. Could you come in and sit down over here?
I see that your name is Bay Area Baller 18. Are we sure about that?
Why did you bring a toothbrush and a change of clothes? If you were just planning to stop by and say hello.
I was just delivering a pizza.
That show was so creepy, but so effective, wasn't it?
So good. Wait. Baller, I'm loving your energy, dude. The Shanahan of it all. He still seems like the young guy, I feel like, in a lot of our minds, like young, newish coach, but it's like the dude's a vet. He's like in his coaching prime right now. He's unreal. I think he's the best play caller in the league. I know
he's got a quarterback that he believes in and believes in him.
And you hear him
Shanahan said they think alike.
Yes, that is it. I think Shanahan is like Purdy is the quarterback version of like what Shanahan like. I do feel like deep down Shanahan put all that effort in. He said like, oh, I just said like screw school, screw like, you know, just hanging out with friends. Like all I did was just go to Denver Broncos training facility directly after school, and I would just work on being a receiver. And I think that he just, when he got to Texas and then he never really played because there wasn't really like the slot receiver types, I think he still has like a chip for like, you know, these kind of guys that are not as athletic, but he's like, if you have the brain, like there's ways that you can get around it. Guys like even like Hufanga on defense, I love the way he's not a fast guy at all. He runs like closer to a 4.8, he was telling us. And he's
Jawan Jennings.
Just figure out little ways. Jawan Jennings, he teaches, I've heard him say like he teaches receivers like, you know, there's ways of getting open. Like you just have to master like one or two little things. It's pretty simple. And
those guys were viewed as slow.
And
they're both really good football players that anybody in the league would want those guys. Val Ramos makes a donation. He says, Krueg Show is the only channel I send my love to. Look at that. Val Ramos. Niner guy makes a donation. Simple game plan. Run the ball at Parsons. Get Debo and Ayuk going and get after Dak. What's up, Baller? Felt like Bosa is going to put on a clinic. Or feel like Bosa's going to put on a clinic. That's
my guy. Shout out that Niner guy, a.k.a. Johnny. He's been on my channel numerous times. Love talking ball with Johnny.
Awesome. AJ makes a donation. I think at one point during the playoffs, we're going to see Purdy deep throw touchdown to Danny Gray. Shanahan is keeping that in his back pocket.
He was out there.
Guys, when I watched the game again, the play that I loved was the Danny Gray coverage tackle.
Yes.
And you know what?
Yes.
Danny Gray told us in the locker room at the end of the interview we did that, you know, I'm like, who can dance? The question was from the UK. It was like, who's the best dancer on the team? And he thought it meant like, what's your touchdown dance going to be like? And he starts going, he's like, you guys haven't seen me, man. I got a great dance. So I can't wait to see Danny Gray get to the end zone because I think he's going to go off once he does.
You know what that reminded me of? And honestly, I don't know enough football to like even explain what he was going for there. But remember Marquise Goodwin, that one random play that Shanahan did when they were punting it away, and they just had Goodwin just sprinting at full speed to like try and get down. Do you remember that? And I think there was a penalty on the play.
I don't remember that play.
Oh, I'm gonna have to try and find it. I still don't know what he was going for there, but it looked crazy.
Emma Findu makes a donation. Thoughts on your wife's OnlyFans account?
I think that he's just being like, I think he thought that was funny and immediately regretted it. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting in the chat.
It's just like, okay.
I know.
Gyron Anthony makes a donation. Purdy is our poor man's Drew Brees. Well, it's funny that you would say that, Gyron, because Willie Snead, who played with Drew Brees, made the comparison to Ryan and I last week in the locker room.
Wow.
He basically said, yeah, I said, when did you first see this? And he's like, yeah, I mean, first time I, got out there with him, I thought he looked a lot like, and he didn't say Drew Brees.
He didn't say
the guy that I played with. If you
Larry,
know what I mean.
Larry, you totally just said Drew Brees just to make sure that everything was clear.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to. Yeah, seriously, I'm like Drew Brees.
Like I almost don't want to make the comparison. I was around it.
I almost was like Jeopardy. Who is Drew Brees? But Willie Snead's a good dude. That's another guy that I really love to talk to. I just think that he's got like a really cool, like been there, done it vibe, but he's not like, hey, look at me, do everything I do. It's more like, hey man, if you need a little perspective, I'm here for you. And you know what? A good football team's got to have 5, 6, 10 guys, who are kind of, veteran guys who can kind of bring guys around. We were talking to Drake Jackson this week, and I'm like, give me the guy who's helped you the most get through your rookie year. And he's like, Kerry Hyder. And, he's like, I'm like, where's he helped you? How's he helped you? He's like, oh man, I mean, on the field, off the field. You got to remember, you're dealing with guys like Kerry Hyder. He's 32, 33, probably has a family, been in the league, been in a couple teams, and he's been traded. He's been cut. He's been waived. He's been practice squatted. You know what I mean? And so a guy who's riding that roller coaster as a rookie, and you got a guy like that who's like, hey man, it's going to be all right. This is how you handle all these bumps in the road, or this is how you do whatever. Drake clearly had an appreciation for Kerry Hyder, and it's just, you got to have some vets, man. You can't just be all young guys.
Absolutely. Your who is Drew Brees Jeopardy made me think, cracked me up. I saw a thing the other day, 1930, Hack Wilson had 191 of these. The guy bunches in, beep, beep, goes, home runs? How it's like, and then the lady got it. What are RBIs? It's like home runs. Can you imagine 191 home runs in the season? Jeez.
We got this one from Stovetop. He says, people are forgetting that Glock Purdy was a 4-year starter in college. All that experience. Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, that's really what we're seeing, right? I mean, he is in a lot of ways the refined player that I'm sure the Jets were probably hoping Zach Wilson will someday be, that he has got an ability to kind of read defenses and play with a lot of poise and move the team and lots of moxie and a lot of accuracy and a lot of competitiveness. But it just kind of goes to show that, you can't evaluating quarterbacks is guesswork. And even though there's a lot of NFL coaches and a lot of NFL GMs and a lot of personnel directors and a lot of scouts, and they know a lot of football more than any of us, and they devote their entire life to it. And yet, even in the midst, and they're competing, they don't kind of want to win the Super Bowl. These guys want it. They would look at our lives and say, whatever you guys are trying to do, you're going at it like 5 miles an hour compared to us. I'm working 120-hour weeks. My family lives in a different state. I've got a condominium across the street from the facility, and I work, from 4 a.m. to 2 a.m. to beat the Cowboys on Sunday. I mean, that's how hard these guys work. So,
I see a chat in here that says, why was Drake being inactive last week? I think it's because they wanted to stop the run. They wanted more defensive tackles in. I wouldn't be surprised to see him active this week, because I think, you're going to need, whether it be, Bosa and Ebicom and the other guys on the edge, you're going to need a break a little bit here, because they're going to be going all out, to get to Dak, and they're going to need athleticism to chase him down as well. The one concern I have is the Niners' weakness.
Dan, but before I'm not going to actually play this because I don't want to get us in trouble, but this was the play. This was Goodwin lined up there on a punt and just went full speed, like track straight as fast as possible, and then just was at the punter like before the ball got there. And I don't really remember there was something weird with the play. Like maybe there was a penalty, but yeah, that's what the Danny Gray.
Is this Danny Gray right here in the circle?
No, Goodwin, Marquise Goodwin. This is from like 2017 or 18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I think Kyle's got crazy ideas like that, but he just doesn't really employ them until the playoffs.
There was one point about the game I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on. I thought the Niners really had, even though, they played incredibly well in the second half, and Purdy threw some dimes, and Debo had that run down the sidelines, and there were several moments in the second half. I thought they caught an absolutely huge break in this game, and I don't know if you guys agree with me on this or not, but Niners were up 23-17, and Seattle gets the ball, and it's like late third quarter, I believe. Yeah. And they have an extended drive, and they're moving it down the field, and they get the ball in the red zone. And then out of nowhere, Austin Blythe, the center, goes down with an injury, and there's a timeout on the field. And like, I'm watching the film, and as I'm rolling, I didn't notice it when I was watching the game, but I noticed it when I'm watching the film. The play before that, a lot of Niner players are hands on hips, hands on knees, really gassed. It was a long drive. I'm not sure what play it was, but they had several plays at that point. So he goes down with an injury, and there's a stoppage of time. They go to a commercial. Everybody gets a drink of water and catch their breath, the whole deal. When they came back, the 49ers play speed was faster on defense. You could see it. And I think the next play, Geno there was a penalty for an illegal offensive lineman, ineligible man downfield. And then the next play on the 2nd and 14, Geno throws a fade to DK, and he overthrew it against Charvarius Ward, and it set up 3rd and 14 from the 19, and that's where Menahue lined up at tackle on an ET stunt. Ebukam shot the gap, and Menahue looped around, and he had a bad angle, but he swiped at the ball, and it popped out. Bosa falls on it. The place erupts, and really, that was the biggest play in the game. But to me, the lucky break was the Blythe injury, because the Niners were gassed and they were kind of reeling. And if Seattle scored there, they were going to go up by 1. Instead, the Niners get the timeout. They didn't want to waste timeouts because they've already had play clock issues. So they weren't going to call a timeout. So they lucked out. I mean, Seattle calls that time. The injury timeout, I think, really helped the 49ers. If you watch the 5 plays before the injury and the 3 or 4 right after, I mean, it was clear that they were rejuvenated with that extra time. So I thought that was a big play in the game right there, because Menahue and Jordan Willis, John Lynch, I mean, different years, but he traded late day 3 picks for these guys. They're huge forces on this front. Give me your guys' thought on that sequence.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're absolutely right. I feel like the Niners were struggling they were kind of playing a little bit like they were expecting Seattle to just fade if they just kept scoring. And they just couldn't get control of the game. Seattle just remained attached the whole game. And then I feel like once that play happened, and I agree with you about the Niners seemed like they were shook. It seemed like Geno was just converting every big down, and the stadium was deflated. That injury time was huge, but it just felt like once that happened, and then the Niners had a chance to go for the throat, they went right for the throat, and then they knew, now like that's gonna take Seattle out of it, and then we're gonna be able to just blow this game wide open.
It's a totally different team with Brock because they could never go for the throat with Jimmy. They never could.
They did it in his playoff in 2019 playoffs.
Yeah, but it was running the ball. They never passed the ball down the field. With this team,
there's too many inconsistencies with his accuracy.
With this team, if they got the ball on a kickoff at the 25-yard line with 28 seconds left and needed to score, I feel like they can score. I don't think you could do that with Jimmy.
The last time I felt like that about the Niners, like truly felt like that, was probably after the Saints game in 2019 when they scored.
And that's not a knock so much on Jimmy as it is a testament to Purdy.
Also helps too. I think they were scoring. They were scoring the couple games before Purdy also.
Well, we said
everybody pointed that Saints game, and it was a great game to point to. But in reality, guys, if you go back and look at it, that was the aberration. That was not the norm. The norm was maybe a good play here, but a really bad play there. In that game, he didn't have the really bad play. He just had big play after big play after big play.
Right.
But he was never able to replicate it.
The show we did with the night they traded for CMC, we did a special show. We talked about what this offense is going to look like with Debo.
KD going to the Warriors. Like, it just made too much sense.
Yeah, it's just like it opens everything up, and it's like, who do you stop? Because somebody's going to be open every play. It's just a matter
recovery 715 makes a donation. Tampa played like crap tonight. Our players are better and our coaches are better. CMC, Purdy, Kittle, Debo, Ayuk, and Juice. Who are you going to stop? LOL.
It's insane.
Add Jennings in there, and
Ray.
Tom Brady threw the ball 60 plus times tonight.
66.
Come on. That's insane. That's not the recipe for success. When I was looking at the analytics of the Cowboys defense, and they're a top 10 pass defense, but rushing, they're more in the middle of the pack. So we might see a bit more running this week as opposed to the game plan. I don't know what you guys saw. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the game plan against the Seahawks was, we're going with Brock Purdy. We're slinging the rock. I mean, from the first play of the game, right? It was a pass play. Yeah. Brock missed Debo by 15 feet, and I'm kind of looking around like, what the heck was that? Post game, he said, "A ball with no excuses, but the ball was wet." And it was that first offensive possession for the Niners felt like it was the heaviest rain of the game, and then it kind of died off after that. But the game plan coming into that Seahawks matchup was, we're going to sling it with Brock Purdy. Now, going against the Cowboys, I think we go with more of a run-heavy approach.
Yeah, and you know what I want to see? Because, I'm a firm believer, and my kid always knocks on me when we're playing Madden because it carries into my play calling on Madden. Whatever's working, I stick with, right? So if I'm running the ball against Dan Coachemilio in Madden, and I see he's got the wrong defense out there, I keep my finger down on the button and I no huddle his ass. And I just
love it.
I just don't let him make a substitution, and that's how I take people down in Madden. No, but
Larry,
seriously,
I got to piggyback off of
last year. The Niners ran Elijah Mitchell at Dallas. They could not stop him. Run more Elijah Mitchell at him this week till they can stop it.
Larry, I got to piggyback off of that because once upon a time, start of COVID, Butcher Boy, your boy, started a COVID Madden league, right? I got in there. I was kicking everyone's butt. I didn't lose a single game. I'm running the ball. Butcher Boy had these Hall of Fame rosters loaded up. I'm running the ball down everyone's throat. Bonte, Guru, Butcher Boy. Butcher Boy called me out on air saying, "Oh, this guy Baller's living in his grandma's basement, just dominating this league." Butcher Boy.
That's awesome.
I'm the champ, all right? I'm the Madden champ, but your boy, don't forget it.
Look at that.
The thing about
There's a little bit
Madden
of seriousness in every live chat, and there was some right there.
The great thing about the new Madden that makes it even more accurate about Shanahan is like, if you just keep running the ball, there is a feature now, Lair, where you can predict the play, whether it's a pass or a run. And if you do that, you basically, if you predict run like up the middle, you stop the running back basically every single time.
Really?
But if they end up passing the ball on that down, it's like a guaranteed touchdown. So it's like you can pull those out every once in a while, and so that you need to pass just enough to keep people honest. But I think Shanahan, that's what separates him from McVay and the rest of the guys that have branched off him, is he's the only one of them that doesn't get bored with running. McVay gets bored.
Let me also say one thing that I wanted to get in before, but I just haven't. We've been talking all about the Niners. After watching the games this weekend, I think Kansas City's going to the Super Bowl out of the AFC. If Buffalo cannot slow down Miami with Skylar Thompson, if they can't beat Skylar Thompson by more than a field goal at home,
they're vulnerable. I like Cincinnati.
They're vulnerable. I like Kansas City. And I'll tell you, in the other one, New York Giants are going to Philadelphia, and they're going to beat the Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Eagles.
I already put that out there. Yeah, I think so.
I really do.
I do
Isaiah
think that.
Hodgins, the kid from Walnut Creek, is 6'4", 210 with great ball skills. He had 100 yards. Daniel Jones ran for 7 first downs. And they've got 2 guys on their front, and Dexter Lawrence and Kayvon Thibodeau, that have to be doubled. So I like and Adoree Jackson's healthy and playing. I like the Giants to go to Philly and beat them.
My dream scenario didn't work out, which was have Minnesota win and Dallas win, and Dallas go knock off Philly. But this will work too. If we beat Dallas and Giants win, I just would love to see a home NFC championship game again. I think that would be awesome.
I think it's about the same. Like, I think there's a possibility the Giants beat the Eagles, but I think it's about the same as like the Jags beating the Chiefs.
I think, although I'll say this, I think it's higher, right? I think the Giants have a better shot of beating the Eagles, probably even in a way than Dallas, because they lost twice. Okay. And I know that, the Niners just beat Seattle 3 times. It's like 15-9 is the record of beating a team, when they play a third time, all time. So the reason I like the Giants is because it's a different style of play it's smash mouth football. It's
I
run
agree. You have
Barkley.
to remember that like the Vikings defense is horrible.
Right. But I mean, the Giants played somewhat, kept it a game in week 18 without Barkley, without Jones. And Dable knew that there was no sense. He knew he was coming back to play Philly in 2 weeks. He had to know that as a coach. You're planning ahead and you're going, wait a minute, I'll be back here because we're going to beat the Vikings. I'm not showing these guys nothing while they're playing for number 1 seed and bringing Jalen Hurts back when he's not ready. They're going to go in there and they're going to put some pressure on Hurts, and they're going to try and knock him out early with that shoulder. You're going to see some heavy pressure on Hurts.
I mean, if he gets injured, then it's but I don't know. I'd say maybe 1 in 5 times it happens.
Yeah, I just think they have a good shot, just because the NFC East is it's a different style of football, and it's a big rivalry. I just think they're going to be up for it. Giants are coming in very confident, and
if you had a guy off between those two teams, like you just name guys like Saquon and Jalen Hurts, and and you just went back and forth. Like the Giants, you would not be able to go very long.
Oh,
no. The Eagles are free.
No, but here's the thing: when you look closer at the Giants, they're really better than we think. Hodgins has got great ball skills and he's playing well, right? So he's a big guy with a big catch radius. He's not that fast, but then they've got Richie James who gives them a little bit of a speed element. I mean, we're not talking about stars here, but they've got effective receivers. What I'm noticing is that their offensive line is the best it's been in a while. You got big Andrew Thomas, the former Georgia Bulldog, at left tackle, right? You got Evan Neal, who's a blue chipper out of Bama, at right tackle. Bretterson, the former Michigan Wolverine, who's very kind of a plow, good road grading guard. They got him at one guard. Feliciano, who used to play for the Raiders, played with the Hurricanes. He's also a really good, like kind of a tough guy. He's playing center now. He played most of his career at guard. I mean, this is a underrated offensive line. Barkley's healthy. Matt Breida's their number 2. Jones is locked in. And he's just, it kind of reminds me of how difficult it was when the Niners went against Atlanta to defend Marcus Mariota. He just has so much mobility, and he understood the pressure points. I just feel like, Minnesota's defense is a joke. And that last play for Minnesota, you're running a 3-yard out to a covered tight end on 4th and 8. I mean, that's just non-competitive crap.
Do you see Kurt Warner's breakdown on that today?
No, I didn't. But let me just say this on the Giants. Giants up front, Leonard Williams from SC and Dexter Lawrence. That ain't bad. And then you got Azeez Ojulari and Kayvon Thibodeau off the edges. Those guys can run. I think their linebackers are just kind of but Adoree Jackson, Xavier McKinney, I mean, those are not bad players. So Philly's easily the more talented team, but I would not be shocked. The Giants are going to be a tough out for anybody because they're just playing first down, ball control, and they don't take a lot of chances. So they're very difficult to defend.
What I'll say about the Giants, sometimes this season, the passing game has looked rather lethargic, but it sure got going last week. And you didn't even mention Darius Slayton, Larry, who's probably their top receiver. They do, no one's spectacular. They don't have any stud wide receiver, but they got some solid guys, right? They're bringing in a tight end, Lawrence Cager, former
who I love. He was a
receiver.
wide receiver at Georgia. He's like 6'6".
He moves well. He looks pretty good out there.
Yeah,
so someone you got to monitor. And it's a run-based offense. The quarterback is a legitimate threat to run the ball, so you always have to keep your tabs on Daniel Jones. So that offense and that defense, I'm picking Philly to win this game, but the Giants got a shot.
Right now we have over 1,100 people in the chat, and we're sitting at 11,207 subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit like and subscribe and join the show. We also, if you want to be a club member, you can be a club member as well for $4.99. Luis donates. He says the Niners will be up for this game. No slow start. We've got Green's Glass Full makes a donation. He said, didn't the Cowboys lose a corner tonight? Did they? The Cowboys well, Xavier Rhodes came in. Anthony Brown had been out. Did Bland go out with an injury? I did see Rhodes.
There was a DB that was limping. There was a DB that came up. It looked like a knee, like a knee got bent the wrong way. I think it was a safety though. Yeah, someone came up hobbled in that Cowboys secondary, and he was not getting off the field very well.
By the way, do you guys have any update on Russell Gage? Not to bring the topic to a halt. That was rough.
I never saw a highlight on it. Did you guys?
Oh yeah, it was real bad. He just basically got clubbed with just clubbed right in the
forearm to the neck, and the neck got bent awkward.
He had a back injury coming into the week, and then he couldn't. He tried to get up, but he couldn't get up.
We're getting close to my my rant that I've been saving. Just to tease the rant, it's about the NFL officiating. I'm ripped.
Can't wait.
Are you going to do it right here, Danny?
Are we ready to let it roll?
Is it?
He's been hospitalized. He had okay. So we do have an update. Here's the update. Russell Gage has movement in his extremities. Okay. He was taken off the field. It was obviously a very sobering moment. He's being hospitalized, but he does have movement in his extremities. And I think that's ultimately what people were the most concerned about. Anytime you see any kind of guy strapped to a board and they're isolating his neck, and I mean, it's just we're all thinking potentially the worst. So yeah, that's good news.
All right, yeah, that is good. That is good.
Before Dan, you go on your rant, I wanted to mention. I don't know if you guys talked about Eric Armstead. We know he had the sack on the Seahawks' first drive. But I
Yeah.
went and watched the game back today. Armstead was pushing people around. He was pushing the pocket, had a few pressures in the game. So Armstead definitely stepped up to the plate. And Bosa, in the stat sheet, it looked like a slow game for Bosa. Didn't record a
He was
sack.
great against the run.
He was great
Yeah.
against the run.
Hopefully they'll call
he too
holding
was
on
pushing
him.
guys around. He bent the corner on got a tackle for loss on the running back. So just want to quiet game for Bosa on the stat sheet. But if you watched it, his impact was loud.
The other
hope-
thing that
Yeah.
go ahead, Ryan.
I was just gonna say, I hope there's no residual dislike from the Joey Bosa over the weekend rubbed on Nick. Because I feel like Nick's
Nah.
pretty
No.
super
Well, the
chill.
official really baited Joey Bosa, didn't he?
Yeah, he
really
came after him. He
stalked
was
him.
walking
I mean, why
away.
you-
like,
What
well,
are you stalking the guy for?
I think he must have said something pretty bad. Because
Yeah,
the ref
I bet.
was like, what the fuck did you just say, young man?
One stat that jumped out to me that I think has got to be repeated. When the 49ers this year are positive or even in the turnover margin, they're 14-0. When they're negative at the end of the game in the turnover margin, they're 0-4.
Right.
Wow. That's a good stat, Lair.
It's a mic drop stat.
Makes
What do you
sense
guys
to me.
think? Sounds like turnovers may be
Yeah.
kind of important.
All right. I'm ready to rip on the NFL officiating. Ryan,
Danny, I have a feeling Danny wants us to clear the room here. Hold on a
Yeah,
second.
wait. Should I get some background music going for
no,
this?
you got
Danny,
some.
we pay the super chats. Is this going to
Yeah,
make
go
people
ahead.
not donate anymore? Okay, let's go to this one.
Yeah,
Jared McBride makes a donation. I will remember when Kittle said after the Super Bowl loss to the Chiefs back in 2020, when he said, "I think I will be back here."
Yep.
No, he said we're running it back. We're running it back. So, Paul Perriman, Larry, San Francisco Giants complaining. Please look at that. I should have
say
like
that
a
at the
rant
end.
ride that's just like on tape that I could just go with, just like, God damn it, just like, something where I could go to it so I don't have to rekindle that kind of passion. All right, let me clear the decks for Danny. Make sure there's nobody sitting in the super chats donating. And so all these people in the chat, almost 1,000 people in the chat tonight. And obviously it's moving fast and furious. And I wish I could read every single one of these.
All right, Ryan, I'm going to get
All right,
you
here you
ready
go,
to
Danny.
cue something. I know we can't show
Wait a second.
video.
Mole's got a question about the rant. How long exactly is Dan's rant going to be?
It'll be about a minute.
A minute?
maybe-
Wait a second. We have a countdown.
Maybe 2 at the most.
2 minutes?
I don't know. We'll see.
All
And
right.
the funny thing is,
Wait a second. I'm going to time it.
in the back.
need to
Ryan,
get
get
good
that
time on
picture
this.
ready. I sent you a still shot of yesterday's Bengals Ravens game. I also clipped it down to 6 seconds. I don't think we can show live video, but I did give you a still shot. I screenshotted it.
Give me a second. Give me a second.
All right,
While you
Danny.
get that ready.
This is Dan Coach Emilio, a man in a 55 and over community with massive hands who is about to go off on what?
Biggest
NFL officiating. I've
NFL
had it.
officiate. Here, wait. Take two.
NFL.
This is Dan Coach Emilio, a man in a 55 over community in Arizona with huge hands who's about to go off on NFL officiating.
NFL in general, but it is my ear is directed
You're on the clock.
at the NFL officials, and that sign in the background. There's no grace for these guys. Okay, just it says grace upon grace. I have no grace for these old geezers that are out of position constantly and missing calls. And why does the NFL, a $1 billion league that has tons of money on gambling, why don't they put a couple of extra officials out there like the Major League Baseball does in the playoffs? They put 2 guys down on the line. You could have 2 guys as line judges, one marking the ball and the other running down to see where the ball goes, if it's caught. They're just not in position. And the play that really ticked me off yesterday was the goal line with Baltimore trying to Huntley trying to jump over the line of scrimmage or the goal line and score. He gets the ball knocked out of his hands. Looks like the guy's off and no one's going to catch him. And Mark Andrews has got a beeline on him. He's going to tackle him probably about the 15-yard line. He completely gets pushed in the back, but because these old men are not even anywhere near the ball, they can't even see that far down the field. Okay? Get NFL officials, hire 40-year-old and under guys who played football, who are athletes. I don't care if they played pro football, whether they played college football. Guys that can go 4.7 40, okay? Not some 65-year-old dude that's 40 yards behind the play and misses a push in the back in a 17-17 tie. Ridiculous.
Oh, I just got the music.
Oh, man, I'll keep going then. How about all the guys getting hit in the head that they don't call? Where's the replay man up in the sky that can't – you can call a play that's dropped a ball, but you're a league that supposedly is all about safety and guys getting clobbered alongside the head. You can't stop play like college football does and call a penalty? Come on, get it right. Look at that push in the back. Look at his hand extended. He's about ready to tackle him. He's got one more step, and he's going to dive and take him down probably at the 22-yard line. He's at the 28-yard line right now. Wait a minute. Yeah, he's at the 28-yard line, and he's running full speed, and he gets pushed right in the back, and they didn't even call it. Give me a break.
Okay.
Manny Machado, Dan, you're going to wake up your neighbors. They went to bed hours ago.
Nobody's on the national media has talked about it. Not one person have I heard say that was a block in the back. The announcers didn't talk about it. Nobody's talked about it on ESPN. Clearly, if you're watching the stinking game, you could see that.
I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say to Dan, did you have any money on it?
No, I didn't. But if I did, I would have really come unglued. That's mild, Dan, right there. Wow. I just don't like – I don't like a league
like mild, Dan.
That is – I don't like it after – because I played sports, and you never want an official to ruin a game for you. Let the players, decide the game. That was – they would have kicked a field goal probably because I think Baltimore could have held them. And then it was a 2017 game. Now it's a whole different game.
I know that's why I like when you guys were saying about the Bills could be got. The problem is I totally agree, but I think with all of the O linemen that the Bengals have lost, they don't seem like the same Bengals either. Jared,
I'm going full tinfoil hat theory, Dan. On that, I think the NFL wanted the Bengals to advance. That's full. They're just the better team, a better matchup.
Yeah. If you heard my commentary on the video that I did, which we can't play because it's, I said, how much money does the officials have on this? Come on. I mean, seriously, you got guys that are 50, 60 years old. Yeah, they look like they're in decent shape, but they can't move. This is a 100-yard field. It's not the 94-foot NBA court.
Let me get a couple super chats. Get a pull of water. Push those glasses back. Get some completes. Where's the old lady? Can we get her to put some wings in the air fryer?
Wings yesterday.
Let's get Dan comfortable. Dan,
we'll get a snack. I put wings in the fryer yesterday myself.
You did it yourself?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Times are a change in there.
He's a big boy. He's a big boy.
Jaguayo donates $2. He says Charles Menahue and Jordan Willis are BIB ballers.
Big baller brand.
Big baller brand. Is that what that is?
Yeah. Dan, you need one of these. I just invested.
Oh yeah. I used to have one of those. Those are great.
Ooh.
They are great. They get the knots out and everything. Yeah.
A lot of work standing.
We got another one here from Jared McBride. He said, "This is awesome. You go, Dan."
Hey, we missed Jimmy Molet's.
No, we're still going down the trip.
Or no, maybe it was Calbas.
Here we go. Mole. Call the goddamn clobber.
It was terrible. I mean, I just don't like terribly obvious missed calls. They're going to happen. But, I start to wonder sometimes the way they call these games, because the one call that's subjective is offensive holding. And do you ever see Nick Bosa ever have an offensive holding call against him? It's so rare.
Against Arizona, he had one.
He actually should take a little bit of notes from his brother. Don't get to that level, but maybe start working the refs a little bit, because it's like kind of with Steph Curry. I remember, like, he's such a good guy that he's not going to be badgering the officials like a LeBron.
Anytime you see a spin move, it's going to be a hold.
Calba says, "Great call, Dan. That was a bad call, and the refs were waddling down the field.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed if I was a Baltimore fan." And then Mitchell and Ness says, "Good question, Larry. I would have thought Dan had money on the game for as mad as he is."
No money on that game.
I had money the opposite way, and my God, was I sweating. And then I mean, that was the coolest thing ever. If you had like the Bengals and a tease down to like 2.5, oh my God.
BS News is going
how
at
about
Dan
J.K.
here.
Dobbins' comments?
What's that? This
How about
BS
J.K.
News is
Dobbins'
going
comment?
at you. He says, "Dan, quit talking over everyone. You're jacking up the show."
Hey, BNS
Backing
News.
it up.
I had exclusive 2-minute time there.
He did.
So,
Yeah,
hey,
seriously.
how about J.K. Dobbins'
It seemed
comments?
like we were getting jacked, but we weren't.
How about J.K. Dobbins' comments? You hear those?
No.
He said the ball should have been given to him. I'm the man, and if we had
Lamar,
he's
right.
Yeah, and
The
if
only
we
chance
had
Baltimore had was run J.K. Dobbins.
yeah, and if
that
we
sounds like he's pissed at not necessarily Lamar.
Harbaugh.
but if he said if we had Lamar, we would have won.
No, you know that's towards Giro.
Yeah, I mean, is the implication that if you guys had paid Lamar, we would have won?
I'm not sure, but he did say if we had Lamar,
Lamar's
we would
hurt.
have won.
I
And
think he would have come back if he.
I don't know. That was a dumb
He hadn't
call.
practiced since December 16th.
I know, but he's his own agent, and like he's of course he's about to go out and try and get.
He's healthy and dogged it.
Well, I just think that he's not going to go out if he's 70%. You know, if he doesn't have any guarantee of a long-term deal.
Smart move.
Wow.
Smart move.
Yeah, I think that's why he wasn't at the game. Like that's
the run game. The run game is so important to Lamar Jackson that if he's hobbled and he's not moving then they need to go with Huntley.
Omar Lopez makes a donation. He says, "Grant, what up?" Does he think that's Grant? It's not Grant.
You know what? I get this now and again. And first off, I think I'm way more.
You have
handsome.
a little bit of Grant.
I think I'm way more handsome than Grant Cohn, but for sure you can differentiate the two because I got the gear. All right. Grant isn't a Niner fan, although shout out to Grant because he is the godfather of 49ers YouTube. But I got the gear and I'm more handsome.
How do you feel about Javon Kinlaw? No, I'm just joking.
Grant says
Batman 29 says, "What are some odd game day rituals that you guys have?"
Players about some of it. Lenore gave maybe the worst answer. It was kind of funny. It was so bad, but you asked like, "Wow, pre-game rituals," and he's like, I like to shower before, It's like, well, yeah, I think most people get up and shower.
The best was Ray McLeod, who told me that after he warms up on the field, he likes to come back, sit down at his locker, and put on a little 50 Cent, "I'm high all the time."
No, not just that. Call back to our first interview with him. He likes to watch Allen Iverson while he does it.
He watches Iverson videos on his iPad as he listens to 50 high all the time. And I started listening to it this week. I like it. I like it. I wish I could play it.
I was playing it too, Larry. After I watched that interview, I added that to the playlist. That's a slapper.
But by the way, what the hell did the Niners have to do to get Future to come back? Like, I feel like that's such a home run, such an easy W for the Niners, and just boosting the social media boost and all this kind of stuff. Like, that was electric when everyone always calls back to their special teams under the Harbaugh years when they used to play Tony Montana. And then,
do you guys have game day rituals though for any big game?
Used to, not anymore.
Yeah, I used to. I used to have a Niner mug at my parents' house, and if I'd go watch it over there, I would make sure I would drink only out of the Niner mug on game day. When the Super Bowl, Bryant Young signed a 49er hat that I have that is like my prize 49er hat. It's pretty sweet. It's the red bill with kind of like the old style 49ers, like Kyle wears. Sometimes you've seen that hat, and and it's signed on the inside of the bill. Sometimes I'll wear that if it's a big game. But I'm at the game, so I don't have a lot of rituals really.
Exactly. The road games, I will say though, this year that we got to watch at home, sometimes I just get so nervous, and I'll do this with Warriors, Niners. Sometimes I just get so nervous that I just can't even watch it, and I just like go get in my car and I just listen to it on the radio, and then I'll listen to it on the radio, like drive to the gym, and then like work out while it's on the gym thing, just so at least I can get my anger out.
Really, Rye?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Say if I didn't do the pregame show, what
I'm
would be a
shocked.
game day ritual is I would just walk through the parking lot begging for shots of Patron, saying, "Hey, I'm Larry Krueger. Can I have a shot of Patron?" And like a Alice Cooper backstage passes kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
I actually brought that up to the guys when I was doing the Gridiron Eats thing, because I was going around, I was just getting all this fire ass food. People giving me tri-tip and shrimp and tacos and all.
Seriously.
And then I was like, I told these
America's guest.
I was like, you did no vetting on me. I could easily just be a psycho that just is just roaming around holding.
I don't
up his
care. Go
phone.
Niners.
Yeah, they wouldn't care.
That's awesome. That's the thing about a tailgate. I mean, you got people handing out beers. You got people handing out shots. The Niner fans drink heavily. There's a lot of Patron. I
haven't stopped yet.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of smoke in the parking lot. It's a lot of people having a good old time. People are they're getting faded. They're getting faded.
Whole family.
Romo 2001 says Seattle tried to Ric Flair Debo's ankle, no call. Yeah, that was pretty bad, guys. And it seemed like the Niner players really didn't like that.
It ticked them off.
Debo like is so good at just scaring the hell out of you, like with some sort of thing where he'll get his leg twisted, and it looks like there's no way he can ever play again. Then he's just fine.
The Recovery 716 donates. He says, "I'm almost feeling a bit too calm about the Cowboys matchup. Is that wrong? LOL. What do you guys expect? I'm going 34-21 Niners."
It's about what I got.
I'm a little worried about this game from the standpoint of Lamb's got great ball skills, and the Niner corners have looked like kind of a little bit lost down the field, especially.
That's
so
my
I'm
biggest
a little
concern
concerned
too.
about that. I'm not as concerned about Pollard and Zeke.
No,
I think they'll shut those guys down. I'm not concerned about Schultz. And I'm not concerned about whether the Niners can get pressure on Prescott. It's simply about turnovers and CeeDee Lamb down the field.
Yeah, that was
and
what
Micah
I was starting to
Parsons'
say earlier.
huge negative plays.
Well, this next super chat that you put up, Larry, I have a question about it because I seem to recall. Let me put it up. Did he go down early and Warner against the Cowboys last year in that game and not return?
I do remember Warner.
Last time we played the Cowboys, we lost Bosa and Warner early and didn't have Trent Williams and still smoked them. 49ers win 31-17.
And Jimmy
Did Bosa only go first half, maybe?
I think Trent played, but he wasn't 100%.
Yeah,
and
I think Trent went out like halfway through the game or something.
And
remember,
Bosa
Jimmy hurt his shoulder that game too.
I mean,
that's right.
The 49ers played the Cowboys last year in the wild card. That was the last time they played. No, that game was 23-17.
Right.
And like came down to the wire and it was kind of on edge,
Cowboys,
right? Dak was trying to
with
drive it at the last minute, and I believe there was
they ran out of time.
Remember, Dak screwed up.
Yeah, they ran out of time.
I mean, the Cowboys are they're like Kirkland brand, Walmart brand Niners. Like,
okay, here's
like
one that's
worse.
not a super chat, but I got to throw your guys' way. Bobby D says Grant has a 49er tattoo. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but somebody said earlier in the chat, hey, if the Niners win this weekend, I'm getting a tattoo. Have you ever considered getting a sports-related tattoo?
No.
I wouldn't mind the tattoo bet just for the anxiety of it would be kind of fun. Like
to get the tattoo before the championship,
or like not necessarily of the Niners, but like maybe
Jason Terry,
maybe
Jason
like
Terry,
maybe
he
like
did that.
If the Vikings won the Super Bowl, I would get one or something like that.
Jason Terry got a tattoo before
the Mavericks
when he was with the
That's crazy.
Got a tattoo.
That is crazy.
You seem to vaguely remember that.
Jason Ornelas, Larry, watching from Guam. So
Let's go.
happy to finally catch you live.
Yo,
Go
I
on.
know a Jason Arnalis. If that's the old pitcher from Reardon, then what's up, Jay?
Really? Jay, are you
Jason
from
Arnalis,
Reardon? Are
he
you a
was pretty good
Crusader?
pitcher. He was a pretty good pitcher. Brought some heat.
Was
I don't know.
was now where exactly? I usually know my maps. I've got a map in the house. Where are we? Where's Guam, guys? Where are we?
Ooh.
Geography.
Danny?
I mean,
Guam.
Guam. Where's Guam?
I think it's down there somewhere. Right
Down by
over there.
Baller? Yeah, it's south of.
Isn't it south
southeast?
Pacific? South Pacific? I don't know.
Somebody locate Guam.
I'm locating it.
I'm big in Guam. Are you kidding me? Thinking about taking the show to Guam.
Yeah, Guam
We're
is an
smoking
island in
in
the
Guam.
Western Pacific
Maybe
Ocean.
that. You know what?
I mean,
Maybe that'll be my line every time people come up to me. Like, dude, how you doing? How's the show going? Oh, dude, are you kidding me? We are going off.
It's between
in
Hawaii
Guam.
and the Philippines.
Should I just say that we're going off in Guam?
Do it.
It's like David Hasselhoff in Germany, dude. Are you kidding me? I'm the shit in Guam. Yes.
So
You
it's
kidding
like,
me?
it's like
Dan Coach Emilio, his name is gold on the streets of Guam.
Yeah, not too far from the Philippines, where my wife's from.
it's like right in the middle. If you were taking a ship from Australia to Japan, it's like right in the middle of that journey.
It's in the middle of the ocean.
Like
It's an island.
let me break this out. Which, by the way, it just made me realize just saw American Samoa, and then it's just like it's so insane how small that island is and how many Samoan
Where is
people.
it?
That's Guam.
The red dot.
Yeah, so that's Japan. This is Australia. Here's San Fran. Here's Hawaii.
Blow it up. You can actually see the Philippines to the left.
Yeah, Philippines.
Blow up Guam. Let me see it. I mean, I don't actually.
Oh no, Dan, you're gonna end up.
No, don't say that. We'll be demonetized. Somebody at YouTube. They were advocating.
Wow, Guam is pretty small. I feel like I could run that in a day. It probably is pretty big, but
Looks like a opposite.
I wonder,
of
Dan, if there's a
California.
gated community within there.
There
for
may
you.
be.
I'm
I think
thinking of somebody you might want to be separated.
Del
a
Boca
gated
Vista
community.
is actually expanding to Guam.
let's check out University of Guam's campus.
Dude, are you kidding me? The Krueg show. Oh my God. I can see our show from there.
I'm thinking live show.
Look at that.
Yeah,
Hey, they're
Bring it.
playing basketball.
Krug show.
Beautiful
coming to you
day.
live.
Looks
Hey,
really
speaking
nice.
of basketball, we got a lot to cover tonight, Lair. We
Well,
got
do you want to do that on
I
this?
mean, you're
I
more
just-
exciting than Guam.
I worry.
You'd like to dial up the pace. Is that what you're saying, Dan?
Let's hear from the chat. If the chat wants us to talk about the Warriors game, I'm down. But I don't know, like if we have people joining that are maybe Cowboys fans or something.
Hey, do we have any Cowboy fans that are willing to put up $50? Come on,
That'd be
Cowboy fans, put up in the chat. Put up
Before we move off the
$50
football, there's a
on
couple
your
football.
team.
Give me. Let's go around the room. Give me your winners. I'm going. This is what I'm going with next week. I'm going KC, Giants, Buffalo, Niners.
KC, Buffalo.
KC over Jacksonville, Buffalo over Cincinnati, Giants the only road team to win in Philly, and the Niners over Dallas.
All right.
I'm going all chalk. I'm taking all the favorites, right? Obviously, Kansas City. I think Philly, while that game, I think it could be tight. I'm leaning Philly.
It
And then-
might be better exercise to do the spreads.
With the spread,
Yeah, because I'm I'm feeling a little chalky myself.
I'm not going chalk. I'm going
I'll take the Bengals, I guess.
All right. the NFC. I've got the Niners and the Giants. And in the AFC, I got Kansas City and Cincinnati. I don't think the league wants to have that game in a neutral site. I think they want it in, and they're going to somehow Cincinnati is going to pull that off, and game will be at Kansas City as a rematch of last year's AFC Championship.
No,
No.
with the Bengals.
Oh, Bengals. Yeah, you're right. Bills would trigger a neutral field if the Bills pull it out in Kansas City. That triggered neutral field.
Honestly, well, okay. I think we all kind of know, like, this weekend was pretty chalk. Usually that means that I'd say one of the Cowboys, Jaguars, or Giants are going to win. I think one of them will. It's just a matter of which one.
After watching the Giants this week, the Giants can move the football. And they have two emerging stars on their defensive line. So, and Philly, I think Philly comes in not 100% physically. CJ Gardner-Johnson's dinged. Jalen Hurts is dinged. Lane Johnson's dinged. They got a couple other guys there that are hurt pretty good. Sweat, the defensive end, is banged up. So, I don't know. They had the week off, and you would think that would help them. But I would not be surprised if the Giants play them tough. Now, Philly could win that game, but what's the number?
Ooh, I think it's 7.5, but I'm going to have to.
I think I would take the Giants in the 7.5. Usually in the playoffs, though, the winning team carries the spread anyway because of the momentum and the finality of the playoffs. But like Buffalo was I thought maybe there was a chance Buffalo would run Miami, and Miami hung with Buffalo. So maybe it's just one of those years. I think Arrowhead is a really, really hard place to play, and I could see KC being up 21-0 in that game early.
I could see them being down 21-0 too. Like
they're volatile.
They've been like consistently now for the past couple of playoff runs. They get down super early and then they crawl their way back. And then versus the Bengals last year, I mean they were doing it last year, and then they played the Bengals and Mahomes just completely pooped his pants. Like I feel like he's kind of gotten a little bit of a pass for that, as he probably should, because he.
Yeah.
Well, he had both.
That would be awesome to see Jacksonville knock him off, though. But
right, didn't Mahomes have his tackles out? Wasn't Schwartz gone and the other tackle was gone too?
I don't remember, but either way, they should have beaten that team. But I don't know. The Jags are kind of good. Like they're kind of annoying. They're just kind of like a little bit like the Giants, or they're. If you think about it, they beat a Chargers team that everyone classically was everyone's darling to be like the wild card team that comes out of nowhere to make it to the Super Bowl. And they beat that team with a -4 turnover differential. That's that's insane. Their quarterback threw 4 picks in the first half and they still beat the Chargers. So and Doug Peterson's a big game coach.
He is. Peterson.
Big game coach.
He's going to have something up his sleeve. Remember the Philly special. He's going to have something, and at a key time.
That fourth down call was friggin' sick when
they got receivers
to ETN on the edge. Oh yeah.
They've got receivers on that Jacksonville team that kind of just do it. Zay Jones has had some big days. Marvin Jones, a veteran. Christian Kirk's got huge speed. He's totally come of age. He got broken off. Everybody ripped him for it. He's backed it up. And then on defense,
Evan Ingram too.
There's some really good athletes on this defense. I thought Roy Robertson Harris is a really underrated player. Foloranzu Fatakazi, who played at Rutgers, he's a little bit underrated. Josh Allen, was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Foyesade Olakon, the inside backer, is just a tackle machine. Devin Lloyd, the Utah kid's big time. Trayvon Walker was the first pick in the whole draft. Their secondary is just kind of but man, they do have some big time athletes on that front seven.
They're adding Calvin Ridley next year too.
Second half.
Yeah.
I know it's next year, but Calvin Ridley will be a good addition.
Oh yeah.
I don't think the Jags. I think KC's going to roll them. I will say Travis Etienne's explosive. He probably has too many negative yardage runs for my liking. He's always looking to hit the home run, but the guy's explosive. So he could bust, a 50 or 60. He could bust a couple long runs in this game. That's just how talented of a back Etienne is.
He is. So it's kind of an interesting matchup. The other thing is, on the NFL notes, did you see that Cliff Kingsbury says he's going to Thailand? He's not coming back. He doesn't want to interview for any jobs.
Yeah, he told that to Schrager. I mean, it sounds like to me maybe he's gonna try and be like the OC for the Patriots or something like that.
Ben Affleck's double chin donates. He says, Larry, all you need is a TCU polo, and you're a spitting image of Sonny Dykes.
Yeah, I've got some pictures of Sonny Dykes up here pulled up. I saw that in the chat.
That's a reminder that I should go to the gym more. Actually, you know what? You should see my brother, because my brother's 5 years older than me, and he's probably a little bit closer in age to Sonny Dykes. He looks just like Sonny Dykes.
Well, we should go
possible
back
Halloween
when Sonny
costume.
was
I know you're a fan of the Dykes spread offense. Feel me? I will say this. I like Sonny Dykes. I don't know if I want to say that I look like Sonny Dykes. Bruce R. Short week, Dallas injuries, Curse, Peters, Hobble, Parsons. TOP will be the key. Niners need to run down the throat of Dallas and force 3 and outs. Yeah, I agree. Time of possession. This is where they need to play complementary football, right? Dominate the time of possession. Keep your defense super fresh, super rested. Dallas has a good O-line, and there's some size there. You want to make sure that your defense doesn't log huge minutes and huge plays on the field, so that you want to make sure that you're fresh and rested. In every series, you're giving Dak just absolutely a full dose of everything you got defensively. I think Bruce is right on the money. I think time of possession is absolutely the key.
Dak was sitting in a clean pocket all night tonight. Well, I saw Vita Vea beat him early, get a sack.
No defensive
but after
end
that,
rush.
It was like Dak, he was able to just sit back in a clean pocket and dice up that secondary. 49ers are going to need to get after Prescott. And Peters is started at left tackle. He went down. And Bosa, one thing I noticed with Bosa on Saturday against the Seahawks, initially in the first half, it looked like he was lining up against the right tackle for most of that first half. And one of their halftime adjustments was, hey, let's get him against Cross, flip him. Not that he had a ton of success, in terms of sacking the quarterback, but it'll be interesting to see because Bosa, they'll move him around,
right.
And we'll have to see if he's going up against right tackle Tyron Smith or who the Cowboys got at left tackle, whether Peters comes back or they got the youngster. I'm forgetting his name, but they got a young cat who's been playing pretty well when he's been filling in at left tackle. I want to say he might be a Smith too.
Tyler Smith.
Steele, I think
it might be a Smith.
You're talking about I know Steele. Steele got hurt, and they had to move some guys around. I think more than anything, the Niners need to do what they did in this last game to Seattle's young offensive line. Play lots of games up front, have them be pretty intricate. And, with the biggest play of the game, they had like three guys on one side of the formation, and you had Ebukam all by himself. And then he shot the middle, took on 2 blockers, and Ebukam looped around and punched the ball out. So I need to see more of that. Dallas has had changes. They've had movement. They've had guys switching positions. Throw a bunch of bodies at them, but throw a bunch of different looks at them. Rush 3, rush 4, rush 5, rush 6. Play stunting games. Throw the kitchen sink at these guys and make them communicate. I think that will be advantage 49ers. This one, G-Code Travels Vlog POV donates, says your favorite Cowboys 49er playoff moment or play.
Well,
I'll tell you one that's underrated. Jimmy Johnson, 1992 NFC Championship game. Cowboys have the better team. They've carried out an incredible game plan. Troy Aikman hit Jay Novacek and Michael Irvin a bunch in that game in key third downs. Dallas played ball control against a Niner team that was actually deeper and better and more veteran. The Niners were clearly the better team. Well, it got down to the end of that game, and Jimmy Johnson could have kicked the field goal and made it a 2-score game, but instead he decides he's going for the touchdown to really put it in the Niners' face. And it got to 4th and goal, and the Niners brought old man Michael Carter, who had a lot of problems at that point physically and wasn't playing a lot of snaps, but he was just the most immovable object in the history of nose guards. And they put him in there, and he just threw Stepnoski back into the backfield, stuffed Dallas, and basically allowed the 49ers to have a chance to come back in that game. So Michael Carter, when Jimmy Johnson was trying to shove it down the Niners' throat, said, not on my watch. So that to me was the Niners lost that game. I mean, the obvious one is Clark, Montana to Clark in the corner of the end zone. But that one, to me, I'll say the other one was the Eric Davis play at the beginning of the 94 NFC Championship game, where he was in a zone, peeled off of his man, jumped the route on the outside from the slot, and picked it off and took it back to the house.
I think
and
a
got
couple
the
of
NFC
them,
Championship game going. That was a huge play. Maybe that was one of the biggest plays in 49er history, really.
Steve Young to Terrell Owens against the Packers. I could still hear Joe Starkey, Owens.
Yeah.
It's like after dropping how many balls earlier in the game, he puts it right on him, and man, he got tattooed in the end zone and held on to that ball. That was a great play. And then, of course, who could ever forget the Alex Smith run?
No, he's talking about Cowboy Niners.
Oh, Cowboy Niners. Oh, okay. I
got a Cowboy
Niners.
Niners that wasn't a playoff game, but we can all remember Terrell Owens getting the touchdown, running to the star, and then he did it again. And then when he did it the second time, that's when the Cowboys player
George
met him at the
freaked
50-yard line and let him know, hey, don't do that. But that's something I remember when I'm thinking, because I was a little too young for the catch.
Well, I'll tell you my personal. Okay, first of all, here we go. Hey, Spider 8 gives one of my personal favorites. 1981, week 6, I think it was. Cowboys were still on top of the world. They rolled in to play the Niners. Niners were upstart. People were feeling good, but this was going to be they were going to get their comeuppance. And the Niners beat them 45-14, and Dwight Clark had himself a huge, huge day. That one I'll never forget. That was a regular season game. I'll tell you another one that my greatest Niner memory of all time in the stadium is my buddy Pete said, hey, man, you got to come to Dallas in 95 after the Niners won the Super Bowl in 94. He's like, you got to come to Dallas. Niners are coming to Dallas. Why don't you come to hang out in Dallas? We'll party for a few days. It'll be fun, and we'll go to the game. So I had a business trip right in the middle of that, and it just happened that I was in that part of the country. So I stopped off in Dallas that weekend, and we did it up, had a huge couple nights drinking, partying, and Sunday morning, we didn't have tickets to the game. We go have breakfast at Papados, which is this gigantic seafood restaurant in Dallas. And then we go to the game, and we're looking for tickets. We can't find scalpers. We can't find tickets. Can't find any secondary market tickets. Wind up paying $395 to sit on the 50. Sit right on the 50. Walked into the stadium, and Jerry Rice is just, as we're walking to our seats, he busts it for a touchdown. Then Ricky Jackson sacks the quarterback. The quarterback throws a pick. Merton Hanks picks it off, goes back for 6. I mean, the game, the Niners won. Derek LaVille went high-stepping into the end zone at the end of the first half to make it 31-6. And I turned around to my section. I had a Niner t-shirt, Niner hat, and I'm just like, ball game, goodbye. I'm like, the champs are in town. Thanks for coming. Oh, it was so beautiful. People were throwing beer at me and peanuts, and my buddy's like, dude, you're going to get us kicked out. But Dallas is not a rough crowd. I wouldn't have done that at the LA Coliseum, Niners Raiders or something like that. But in Dallas, where they were playing Donna Summer music, and it feels like a bowl game, and everybody's polite to everybody. It felt like the perfect place. But Cowboys lose that game as 13.5-point favorites to Elvis Gerbach and the Niners. And then Dallas goes on, and that was the year they won it with Barry Switzer against the Steelers. And I think Niners might have gotten ousted by Green Bay in the playoffs that year. So 95 Niners, they were still awesome. They beat Dallas in Dallas, but Dallas won the bowl.
I don't really have any. I don't have much feelings as far as the Cowboys go. On, if I'm being honest, like the thing that creates those is like, emotional moments in the playoffs. And in my lifetime, in that I would actually am like watching football and paying attention and caring, the Cowboys have just been like a sad, they're just kind of like a more popular version of the Chargers or something. So I don't really hold much animosity towards them.
There was an actual poll I saw today on Twitter. Who do you hate as a Niner fan the most? It was Seattle, Dallas, the Rams, and there was one other
Giants.
team. No, there was another team in there. It wasn't the who was it?
Rams,
Anyway.
Seahawks, Dallas, and who?
Trying to remember who the fourth
Raiders?
team was.
Something like that.
No. Oh, Packers. So those were the four.
It's hard to hate Green Bay because they're so charming and they're really nice people.
And they never beat the Niners.
And we've been beating them up the last decade.
I picked Seattle and the majority. It was like overwhelming. First was Seattle. Second was Dallas. Third was the Rams at 8%. I was surprised it was that
I
low.
would say Dallas just because Dallas, Dallas thought Dallas was America's team. And then Joe Montana made the 49ers America's team. And then Dallas has kind of always been sort of America's team, but the Niners have kind of replaced them. So I don't know. I in some ways I feel like Dallas is more where Seattle, but Seattle obviously, especially during the Harbaugh years. It was really good. G-Code Travels says, my all-time favorite moment was Dion no-call PI against Michael Irvin. Yeah, that was the 94 NFC Championship game, which was, in my opinion, the last true clash of titans in the sport was Niners-Cowboys 94. I mean, there was Hall of Famers everywhere you looked on that field. Dallas, Niners. I mean, to me, one of the greatest moments of that 94 game is that Dallas was so good on defense. They had everything covered. Steve Young bootlegged Charles Haley, and it was the only way to slow down Charles Haley at all was to bootleg run right at him because his pursuit to the quarterback was so ferocious that literally the only way to defend him was to run at him and hopefully not run right into his arms. And Steve Young bootlegged him in a key third down in the first half. And I think he did it twice in the first half. And both times, big gainers. And I thought, wow, okay, this is the next level. Niners have a ton of weapons. They're great everywhere, but they're all covered, and they need Steve to run. And he did. He ran effectively in that game. And obviously, they destroyed the Chargers a couple weeks later.
Yeah, I don't really know. Dallas for me, it's almost like I feel similar to like the Cavs. Like, I don't hate the Cavs, but I hated them during those years. Just Dallas, they haven't done anything. I mean, when was their last Super Bowl? Was 94? Like they're
96,
95. 95. Yeah,
95,
January or February of 96.
Yeah.
So they've won. Yeah, so like I was just born then, and they haven't really done anything in the playoffs. I've just been sad since.
Yeah, that was the year Dion went to Dallas, and they beat what was it, Buffalo or no?
Hey, while we got Baller here, you guys got I don't know how much you guys watched of Warriors Bulls. They lost 132 to 118, and then tonight the Warriors beat the Wizards, and Steph went for 40 again. He had 41, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, his fourth 40-point game of the year. Golden State gets the win. They take on Boston at the Fleet Center or whatever the hell they call it, TD Bank North, Thursday. You guys got a quick thought on Golden State, either against the Bulls or against Wizards? I mean, to me, James Wiseman sprained his ankle in practice. Like, wasn't that big of a deal. It was like 2.5 weeks ago. He still hasn't played. I mean, what's the story there?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Sounds like he's progressing. I heard today on the radio, there's a report that they expect him to practice. Him, Kuminga, and Green, who had this infection in his foot. Green. It sounds like they're all progressing, and sounds like they're all going to be practicing within the next few days. That was the vibe I got from the radio.
thought Kuminga was actually practicing and they thought he might be
That could be
activated.
right, Dan. I think Kuminga is the furthest ahead. Yeah.
What's going to happen here? Where it's January 16th. They're still roughly 500. The trade deadline's in February, less than a month away. There's talk that Monty Poole had an article out saying that they're looking for size and shooting. Part of me wonders if they're getting ready to dump Wiseman, because it just seems like he's either soft, not healthy, doesn't fit, doesn't like to play.
You mean Vucevic?
I don't know what the deal is, but it ain't working out. And then I'll say this: I just watched that Spurs game in front of 60,000, which was kind of cool. But I don't want any part of a Wiseman for Jakob Poeltl.
Yeah, no. Give me. How about Vucevic with Chicago?
I would be so Warriors if they traded Wiseman for Jakob Poeltl.
I kind of like Poeltl.
The only thing you can say about Poeltl at all is that he's kind of quietly effective. His game is ugly. It's like Antoine Jameson floaters, but with no athleticism. I do not want to trade James Wiseman for Poeltl.
Do
you guys like Vucevic with the Bulls?
Yeah, but they wouldn't.
Well, of course.
Of course.
Why wouldn't the Bulls? The Bulls are going nowhere.
I mean, you could get him, but you want to pay $18 million.
What's that noise?
I don't know.
Ouch. You could get him for Wiseman and Moody, and
but he's older, Danny, and he's a free agent.
Is he a free agent?
I mean, that'd be a no-brainer. But when you trade for a guy, I'm not a bird right expert, but when you trade for a guy, if you have him for a half a year, you might not have his full bird rights. But when you trade for a guy and you have him on your roster, then you can go further over the cap to re-sign him and bring him back. I mean, if you can get Vucevic, dude, you make that deal.
Well, I mean, he's a good shooter. There's no question about it. Let me check his contract status.
He's a good player.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah, he's a free agent. So he makes $22 million. And Wiseman makes 10 or whatever. So you're gonna have to come up with somebody else.
Work. Yeah, you'd have to throw in like
there's talk that they want Caruso, who makes 9. I don't want to trade Wiseman for Caruso either.
That's Ryan's boy.
Yeah, Caruso's I mean, is there room for another guy? Because he's similar, he's a great defender, not a bad shooter, but he's
different
guards.
than DiVincenzo. I know.
You've got DiVincenzo, and then you've got I don't know what they're going to do with
Jordan
Jerome,
Poole, obviously.
If they're going to, use Jerome as they're going to either do something. They've got one roster spot, and they're either going to play out Jerome and Lamb and be done with them, or they're going to add one of them. If not both, they would have to make a trade to drop somebody off the roster if they want to carry both those guys into permanent, roster spots, because they're two-way. So I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, to me, it seems like the buyout markets is a way to go, because there'll be some players available during that.
I mean, has there been substantial reports about like Warriors shopping wise? Because I just want to get a gauge for the market they're looking for. Because I just feel like trading him at this point, I would be willing to part ways with Wiseman, but they're not going to get anything near the value that we would hope for.
Yeah, I mean Wiseman.
But I wouldn't trade him for Caruso.
I wouldn't trade him for nothing. No.
But there's talk that the Warriors are one of the teams that is showing interest in Caruso, and
wait,
salaries
Ryan,
match.
I thought you were the trade Wiseman for Caruso guy. You are the Caruso guy.
I love Caruso, but that's a little bit too much. That's a little bit too much compensation for Caruso. Although I think that if you're trying to win now, I mean, Caruso's he does all of a sudden come in and give you a little bit of that Peyton production.
I don't think he fits the wing. They need a wing that can, a 3-and-D guy. They need a 3-and-D guy, in my opinion. A guy that can, shoot the rock.
It's kind of what Caruso is. He's a 3-and-D guy.
Now, this is interesting, guys.
How tall is he? Is he 6'6"?
Who's that?
Caruso?
6'5". Yeah, 6'4", 6'5". I think he might be a little bit. I think he's about 6'5". Maybe a tad under.
I'll take the under.
This is interesting. This is Sean Devaney, who's a pretty credible writer, NBA writer. He's quoting an NBA Western Conference executive. Here's the quote. "We have not talked to them about Kuminga, but a lot of teams have," a Western Conference executive told Devaney. "Wiseman is tough because they still believe in him, and they don't want the fact that they took him and not LaMelo to come off as some huge mistake. Plus, what kind of value does Wiseman have anyway? I'm not saying they're shopping Kuminga, but they're getting an idea of what the market is, which is what you've got to do in that situation." So, yeah, I see to trade Wiseman, Rye's right. You're trading him at a loss. Kuminga, though, has shown enough, and he's had enough good
No
nights.
way I'm trading Kuminga.
I'm pretty sure the report might have even been Caruso for Wiseman and picks. Like, I don't even know if it was straight up for Wiseman, because I actually probably would do straight up for Wiseman.
I don't want to move Kuminga, though.
I mean, sorry,
no way.
I meant
Kuminga unless you're
Got to be blown away.
I meant Wiseman.
Yeah.
Kuminga is untouchable, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that it would be Wiseman plus picks is what the reports were saying, which is why it seemed so crazy.
For Caruso, Wiseman and picks for Caruso.
Let me see.
I mean, that just seems like a really bad
I
short-term
mean, he's
deal.
like a top 5 defender.
No, I mean, I like Caruso, but James Wiseman was the second pick in the draft. I mean, you are going to take some criticism if you pawn him up for Caruso. Alex Caruso's nice, but I mean, come on. Sean Shepper says, here's a donation. Eric Davis house calls. Dwight Hicks and the Hot Licks. Krug, did you know Jim Graff, the hot dog guy, worked with him? Anyway, I think our D will be fine. The look for the big play now. Takeaways. Be blessed. Thank you, Sean. I don't know Jim Graff, but I appreciate the super chat. We have one more from Sean who says, here's another donation. And the Cheeseheads. And the Cheeseheads, he said, this is actually the outward manifestation of mad cow disease, which explains our dominance the last few years. Be blessed.
Did we ever hear back from the guy from Guam if he was the pitcher from Reardon?
Yeah.
He, I was reading the comments. He said, no, baller. He's not.
Oh, okay.
He's not. He's not from Reardon. Tyler Choi says Miles Turner, but he's also a free agent at the end of the year. Robert Boyd, he says, GG boys. Yes, my Bulls won. We didn't have one key player either. Jags win and Giants win and Bills win and 49ers win. Calling it now. Robert Boyd. Wow, Robert's going Jags over the Chiefs?
That's a big upset.
That is a big upset.
Okay, Robert.
Yeah. I'll be pulling for that. I want to.
Based on what I've saw this weekend, I'm saying Chiefs Niners.
That's been the
Chiefs.
feel.
I thought none of those AFC teams
feel for weeks. If the Bills make it, they seem to me to have holes that are a really good team's going to expose, because they have been not playing that well for the last 6-8 weeks.
Well, you know what the narrative is going to start to be?
What's that?
Brian Daboll. All of a sudden, Daniel Jones is looking like, prime Josh Allen, and Josh Allen is turning the ball over quite a bit.
He is. We got this one in here from J-Tan.
I still wish that the Niners just fired Kyle and got Ken Dorsey, though.
J-Tan says Utah about to get John Collins. There's a 3-team NBA trade, guys, that's being rumored to be on the doorstep to being consummated. Here is the trade. Tell me what you think. It involves the Cavs, the Hawks, and the Utah Jazz. And by the way, I don't know if you guys saw this tonight. Walker Kessler of the Jazz, 20 points, 21 rebounds, 4 assists.
He's a monster.
Walker Kessler. All right, but this is the trade. Cleveland would get Malik Beasley, who's really underrated. Utah would get John Collins from Atlanta. Atlanta would get Karis LeVert and more from the other two teams. So Karis LeVert, they're saying, would be in the deal, but the Hawks would get players from Utah and Cleveland to round it out.
That's like that's such a mid trade.
That didn't get my blood pressure.
That didn't move my needle at all.
John
deal.
Collins is by far the best player in that deal.
Yeah,
You know who probably would be really excited about that deal is Farhan Zaidi.
Yeah, exactly. Also, there's a rumor that the Clippers want Mike Conley. You know, if the Clippers get a point guard, that could be interesting. The other one that I found kind of interesting, Pistons are getting calls on all their guys. Nerlens Noel, Bogdanovich, Sadiq Bey, Alec Burks. They're saying the Pistons may get ready to make a big deal. I could see Warriors Pistons hooking up. I really could.
Who do you like, Bay or do you
For
like
the Warriors? I like Bey and I like Burks. I mean, I like Bogdanovich too, but I mean, I like
Burks.
Burks.
They were awful.
Yeah,
He would fit in.
Burks.
Burks would fit in well because
they already had him.
Yeah, and back when they were like 15-6, whatever that horrible year was, but he's a good player. And
I actually think I'm talking myself into the Caruso thing. I actually think that if they got Caruso, I wouldn't want to trade Wiseman, but maybe they trade like Moody and some picks for Caruso. I mean, that could vault them. That could be a major game changer. Like
that would be a good deal. Moody and some picks, even a future one.
Does that work financially?
I think so.
Well, no, because you'd have to. Moody makes Caruso 4, and Caruso makes like 10. So that it would have to be like Jermichael Green, or you'd have to throw some other guys in there to make it happen. But I'll tell you the one deal that does kind of make sense, and I think it makes sense for both teams at this point, is the Warriors need one more reliable rotation player who's ready to perform right now. And there are teams like Indiana that are going younger. I think the Moses Moody, Chris Duarte swap makes a lot of sense. One, I know.
Why would they give up Duarte though? Duarte's pretty good already.
They're shopping him, according to what I've read. I read this morning that they're shopping Duarte.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's funny because they could have had Moody.
But yeah, they could have had Moody, but now Moody more aligns with their plan because they really want to go younger. And Duarte, you know, you think of those guys in the same draft, but Moody's 19, 20, and Duarte is like 25, 26.
Yeah.
But Duarte could help the Warriors right now. And I think in a lot of ways, he would be a little bit of an upgrade immediately off Moody. And maybe long-term, if it was Moody and a pick, maybe Indiana would go for something like that.
I mean,
my concern with
the Warriors would have taken Duarte if he dropped.
Yeah, they wanted him. He was next. My concern, if you get rid of Wiseman and you don't bring in a big man to help Looney out, I don't know how long they could play that game. Yeah, they do not have any size. They're worse than last year because last year, you know, I'm drawing a blank. Otto Porter was a great rebounder. He kept balls alive a lot, whether he came down with them or tipped them. I mean, Anthony Lamb doesn't have any jump to him.
I mean, down there. I mean, who's Anthony Lamb at this point? Brian
Iglesias. They don't. That's who they're using, though, Larry. He was the sixth man today.
I mean, they got to upgrade. I'll tell you the other one that I would be really interested in, and I don't want to move Moody, and I don't want to move Wiseman, and I don't want to move Kuminga. But if they really felt like they were in a go for it mode, would you trade all of them?
No.
You don't even know what's coming.
I'm not trading Kuminga.
But you don't know what's coming.
All right, let me hear
Giannis?
No. I'm saying, would you trade all of them in a package to Utah, who's obviously not ready to win right now, for Markkanen?
No.
What do you think, Baller?
Kuminga.
Would you trade Kuminga, Wiseman, and Moody all to Utah for Lauri Markkanen, who is a borderline all-star this year, and in some ways is exactly the kind of player that they need? He's in some ways he's Otto Porter and Bielitsa.
Yes, I would.
You would trade Kuminga in that deal?
I mean, to me, Kuminga's the only guy you're really trading at this point, Dan. You're trading. I mean, Wiseman is a big question mark. And I got a Wiseman jersey in my – these guys have seen. I got a Wiseman jersey. Yeah. He's a big question mark. Okay, Moody looks like he eventually could be a solid, like, 6th, 7th man rotation guy projecting into the future. So, essentially, to me, your trade – that'd be Kuminga for Markkanen. Yes, I do that trade.
He's played like a top 15 player in the NBA. That's not even like being hyperbolic.
Yeah, I mean he's really
dude's really
good, but
talented.
I
He's
don't.
supremely talented.
I know what you're
is it-
saying, Danny. I would say no to trading.
Did you make up
Kuminga.
that trade, or would you read that somewhere? Is that a rumor?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just reading the tea leaves, looking at Utah,
Okay.
going. Utah's got a player in
Well,
marketing who's
advanced
ready.
numbers.
He's playing right now, and the Warriors have 3 guys that have value to a team like Utah, and the salaries kind of match up. I think. I mean, I think Markkinen makes like $18 million.
Isn't Markkinen only like in his 3rd or 4th season too? 3rd?
He's young. Yeah, he's like 26.
Oh.
I would compare it to the Kings getting Sabonis. He's kind of he's not the same kind of player as Sabonis. He's more of a perimeter player.
Yeah, he's a big perimeter player.
He's a very skilled.
I don't think
perimeter
Bob
player.
Myers
He's an Arizona
makes that
kid.
deal. I don't think Bob
Dan, I
Myers
mean,
does that.
this is okay. This is the EPM is the best stat in the NBA. It's most predictive by far. It's easily the best stat out there.
I mean, look at the names at the top. You can tell it's accurate.
Yeah, Markkinen is currently 10.
Yeah, you're talking about getting a player who's a terrific player. You would be divesting yourself of 3 young players with huge upside, no doubt.
By the way,
you would be taking the least risk because you're getting the established young star.
By the way, if you look at EPM, it's the way it works out. You can just think of it as like, okay, Steph is plus 7.2. That means he's 7.2 points. He's worth 7.2 points to your team over the course of a game, better than an average NBA player. Our number 2 last year was Gary Payton, and it was because he was plus 3.6 on defense. Look at that. Gary Payton was number 2. This is why I'm a little bit like not kind of down for Caruso. If you sort by defense so far this year, Caruso's at 3.2.
Interesting.
He's not as good of an offensive, or he's not doing as well offensively, but he can shoot and he'd be better offensively in this system. But like he was, he's 3 here. I think he was like 5 in 2021 the last time he was healthy. He's 3.8. He's like a legitimate like Gary Payton, almost Gary Payton level defender.
Baller's got to jump. Hey, Baller, we'll let you go, man. You got a final thought? Niners. It's gonna be Niners Cowboys. You got a quick final thought on your way out the door on Niners Cowboys?
Yeah, I do. First off, thanks for having me, fellas. Had a blast chatting ball. Cowboys are coming to town. You got to make Dak Prescott uncomfortable. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were unable to do that tonight. He was carving up that secondary. Now, in the slot, Larry, before I go, I want to hear your opinion on this. Putting CeeDee Lamb in the slot, matching up with Jimmy Ward, I'm a bit concerned about it. I don't think that is – and I know the 49ers play a lot of zone, so they'll be playing zone and man, a combination. But when they're playing man, CeeDee Lamb in the slot with Jimmy Ward matched up on him, I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned about that. But
Jimmy Ward's way more physical, but Lamb's quicker and has, great ball skills. It's going to take everything they got to me, this one's not about the receiver. This one's about up front. You're going to have to move. You're going to have to make Prescott uncomfortable up front. You're going to have to muddy the pocket, move guys around, all kinds of games, blitzes. Make their O-line with all these guys a couple of guys in new spots, make them communicate, put some stress on them. Don't sit back and let them get the same look. Mix it up on Prescott. And I don't know that Baller, I don't think there's an answer down the field against CeeDee Lamb. I think the answers lie up front.
I agree. Make Dak uncomfortable. That's the recipe for success. And then on offense, we're going to have to run the ball. Run the ball on this Cowboy defense. They're better against the pass than they are against the run. But, hey, let's get this win. 49ers, can't wait to chat ball with you guys soon.
All right, Baller.
Hey, by the way, before you go, that trade, and I put it into the ESPN trade machine, it didn't work.
What didn't?
What didn't work?
The marketing for the 3 Warrior guys. So
well, you could do 2. You could take Moody out of there, and it does.
Well, now it just said it's successful. When I did it a second time, it is successful.
Got to refresh.
Hit refresh, Dan.
Hey,
you can force that move.
Baller, I thought it should work.
We'll talk to you, Baller. There you
go.
Baller.
Bay Area
Baller. Baller's outstanding. Go follow his channel. He does an incredible job on his channel. He produces a lot of great content, and we appreciate him joining us.
That's crazy. You know, these trade these things. Hollinger's analysis says the Warriors -7 wins and Utah would be -10 wins.
Their metrics suck.
How does that happen?
Is real GM.
How could that be? I mean, these guys aren't even playing for the Warriors.
Joshua Shaw, the trade machine is broken.
Jeez.
That is awesome.
-7 wins.
All right, let's do this. If you're in the chat, we got almost 700 people in the chat right now. If you haven't hit like and subscribe, if you could hit like and subscribe, we would really appreciate it.
Yeah, that would be good, actually.
That would be good. Let me see. Let me tell you exactly how many subscribers.
We should be over 11.5 almost.
Let's see.
Just a wild guess. No,
that would be a lot. That would be 300.
Probably 11,241. 11,241.
Mine says 11,240.
Whoa, you're kidding. Larry, I am not kidding you. I just take a guess. I wasn't even looking. I was off by
11,240.
I was off by
11,240. Which is amazing because, guys, we got to 10,000 last Sunday.
Yeah.
Like that? Is that right? We picked up 1,240 subscribers in the last week. In the last week to 10 days. All right.
How about that other thing that you put out today on Twitter that said we were the number 86?
Rich Eisen referred.
Yeah, I just tweet. Yeah, Rich Eisen kind of replied back to him, which made it seem kind of legitimate. But I think it was they just looked at everyone's post-game stream and then just looked at how many followers they had and then how many views it had and then did the math of so 86% of Larry's the followers of the channel were watching it. But I don't know if that was I don't know if he's got all the models.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think we're up there with Eisen, man.
Yeah.
One thing I do got to get Danny's thoughts on before we say goodnight, and that is the San Diego, which means no, I won't say what it means. But San Diego, breathe it in, drink it in. The Padres want Shohei, and the Padres got the best amateur player in the country, in the world, that was available in free agency. So we'll hit on that. We'll also get a couple more hits on the chat. But first, let's get a word from our sponsors right here, and we'll be back with more on the Krueg Show after this.
Larry Krueger here for Telmetrics. Thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics. If you're an occupational therapist, if you're an orthopedic surgeon, a chiropractor, a physical therapist of any kind, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and the telehealth environments. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. So for all your sports injury needs, or if you're a physical rehabilitation specialist of any kind, make sure you use telmetrics.co, TELMETRIX.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and all the good people at Telmetrics for being a proud sponsor of the Krueg. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Dan Coach Emilio. Dan is a buddy, and he is a phenomenal retirement planning specialist. And you can contact him today at securemoney.com or at his number 925-628-9966. There's a lot of uncertainty in our world right now, and you want to make sure that your money is secure. That is the key. Danny's got 25 years of experience, born and raised right here in the Bay Area, and he can help you get an immediate 10% premium bonus on your principal retirement account. So give him a call, 925-628-9966. He'll make an appointment with you, and you can sit down. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of a deal. He'll consult with you and come up with a strategy to get you going to where you want to be. Once again, 925-628-9966, securemoney.com. And thanks to Tony Casera and the good people at Casera's Italian Menswear. They are housing the Krueg Show t-shirts, and they're a proud sponsor of the show as well. The Krueg Show t-shirt, the Krueg Show podcast t-shirt is available there at their store in Dublin. Their address is 7372 San Ramon Road in Dublin, California. And go see Tony Casera and get yourself a Krueg Show t-shirt and support the show. And special thanks to our sponsor, New York Style Italian Sausage. That's right, NewYorkStyleSausage.com is their website. Phenomenal product, whether it's the breakfast sausage, the Italian mild, the Italian spicy, the chorizo. You cannot go wrong with New York Style Italian Sausage. Once again, NewYorkStyleSausage.com, often imitated, never equaled.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday dinner without sausage, it's like a church without God. You know, how can you go to church if you don't believe in God? You know, and along with the sausage also became the discussions. That was discussion night. You know, it wasn't a typical family that you sit there and you're quiet, you know, and you don't talk with a mouthful. Oh no, man. Italians talk when they're eating. Italians even talk when they're sleeping. And definitely we talk with our hands. So if we can't express it through our mouth, through our lips, we express it with our hands. So, and that's what sausage is, really. It's an expression, you know, that life is good.
So New York Style Sausage was started over 7 years ago. We are the largest producer of fresh Italian sausage on the West Coast.
What makes our sausage in New York style is really the recipe came from back east, from New York, you know, from Connecticut.
If you look at all of our labels, there's maximum 4 or 5 ingredients, which we're really proud of.
There's no preservatives, no MSG, fresh in, fresh out.
The pork comes in fresh, goes out fresh. There's never any freezing throughout the process. We've always used fine quality cuts. We're never gonna deter from that. It's one of the reasons why our sausage is so good. I guarantee you put our sausage up against anybody else's from a flavor standpoint, no one will beat it, hands down.
Hey, do yourself a favor and do me a favor. Go buy a package of the New York style Italian sausage. Guaranteed you will love it. Guaranteed.
Hey, Pasquale. Dan Cochimilio here for the Krueg Show. Just picked up for the very first time some of your New York style Italian sausage here at Sam's Club in Arizona. My wife just cooked it, and I'm about to take a bite. Man, this is good. Pasquale, when you winked and said you guaranteed we love it, you're right. This stuff is absolutely amazing. Best sausage I've ever tasted.
All right, well, welcome back to the Krueg Show. 2 hours, 32 minutes into the live stream. Coming up on 11:21. And let's hit the chat, and then we'll have our final thoughts, and then bolt for the door. Danny brushed his teeth. Good to see you got your teeth brushed.
Oh, you saw that, huh?
Yeah, we did see that.
What?
Danny was over.
That wasn't on the live, though, was it? That wasn't on the live, was it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it takes. I use a one of those. What do they call those things? It's kind of electric, whatever. I don't know.
Here we go. Look at this.
3.
Jim Molay, fucking Dan, going through his bedtime routine right in the middle of Pasquale's.
Oh, you
Have
saw
some
that? I didn't know
respect,
that
man.
picked up. I thought,
Have some respect.
Yeah, man.
I actually missed it. Were you like using the webcam as like a mirror as you were brushing your teeth?
No, I just looked to see if the commercials were over yet.
Oh,
the spots, and I did. It was the one that was my Pasquale. I guess I didn't. We were in
Planet Serpos's high quality sausage.
I had some of that for dinner tonight. What I've been doing is
Sonic. Thank you, G.
you only have
Martinez.
so much of the Italian sausage layer, as I'm sure you're like you.
Yes.
it's like we get like whatever 14 boxes of it, and it's like you feel like you have to eat it. So I've tried making it every which way, and lately my move has been just to like make a full blown pizza, and then just like take it out of the casing and just cook it up with some onions, and then put the sausage on the.
Ooh yeah. I'll have ooh. It's a ooh ah.
I like it. You know, there's lots of different ways. I mean. Sometimes like I'll grill them like Italian mild, slice them in half, and then put some like diced onions and bell peppers in like a kind of a tomato sauce and kind of scoop it all together. It's really good.
That's really good.
I was having my most success with the grill actually, but then we ran out of propane, and now I'm like,
what's your favorite topping on a pizza?
Ooh.
I you know, here's what I go with: sausage, pepperoni, bell pepper, yellow onion.
All right,
and that's really it. I can mix in a little ham. I don't mind a little ham on pizza, but bell pepper, definitely sausage and pepperoni. Oh, mushrooms.
Yeah, I was gonna say
onions.
Need mushrooms on that sausage one.
Sausage, pepperoni, mushrooms, bell peppers, yellow onion.
Give me salami.
It's too salty.
Yeah, but it's
You like better than pepperoni?
Salami over pepperoni.
Oh yeah, over pepperoni every day of the week. Yeah,
really.
Pepperoni's a little spicy for me. I like salami. I like sausage. Give me a little bit of bacon. Give me some.
I love some bacon.
Give me some, bacon crumbles.
Bacon seems a little gluttonous on pizza to me.
And some onion. Oh man! But yeah, if you're gonna eat pizza, it's you gotta go for it. I don't eat pizza too much anymore because
it's not bad. It's not a bad one, and now it's not my favorite. Because there's no meat on it. But the pizza that is like, it's like garlic and basil and olive oil and like tomatoes.
Just like a margarita pizza?
Yeah, like a margarita pizza.
Good margarita pizza.
With like a thin crust with what I said, just heavy on the garlic. I'll tell you the other one. If you ever go to North Beach Pizza in the city, they have a pesto pizza. And I never really liked pasta with pesto that much. The Italian side of my family, we had a lot of pasta with pesto. And I liked it a little bit, but maybe some garlic, some pine nuts or whatever in there. But pesto pizza from North Beach Pizza, phenomenal.
Oh, I'll get. I don't mind mixing it up with pizza. I'll get weird.
I also like the Mountain Mike's pepperoni that kind of curls
they're so
up.
Good. Well, how do they do that? They're so perfectly
certain
crispy.
Kind of pepperoni they buy,
small and crispy,
that pops up into it, and it's like little pools of grease.
Yes.
Oh, it's wonderful.
I know Mike's. I don't know how Mike's does that. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys.
Oh, I got one underrated. Very underrated. Very. Actually, I'd actually say it's pretty uncommon to find this on mini pizza places, but a meatball pizza.
Oh, I love
meatball on there. It's like
some Parmesan.
Oh
yeah. The best pizza I think I've had though when I lived in Connecticut, the pizza on the East Coast is so good.
It's flat
brick oven style pizza. You got that little burnt taste on the.
Well, that's kind of like Amici's, sort of.
Yeah,
that's what Amici's goes with.
Yeah, I love a brick oven pizza.
Did you ever had that Amici's one with like the clams?
I have.
It's pretty good, actually.
I know Mr. Amici, so I know the guy who's the guy. I'll tell you what I love from Amici's, and I could just eat them like there's nothing. I mean, when they used to order them at Cambiar, I'd be like, I wouldn't even be hungry. I'd go back there, I'd munch like 7 or 8 of these. The lemon pepper wings from Amici's.
Oh yeah,
their lemon pepper wings are good.
Oh my god, dude, it's the best wing of all time, and you can get them like atomic or mild or medium or whatever.
Oh, I was looking for a wings place and
absolutely incredible. It's not buffalo. They're not buffalo.
No, I love a lemon pepper wing. I always go half lemon pepper, half regular buffalo.
The lemon pepper from Amici's is the guy told me about it. I think he told me that he got the recipe in China, but I mean, it's like an
Is it
incredible
like Korean style, like Korean.
It's like no, it's like there's some kind of green. I don't know if it's leeks or there's something green on it as far as like a vegetable, either some kind of green onion or a leek or
Hey,
something.
you guys are getting me so hungry. We got to do a live stream sometime.
And then they have this lemon pepper. It's like really lemony,
and
but
thousands of people.
it's really spicy. Oh, it's so good, dude.
Could you
It is
imagine?
absolutely so
We had 1,000 plus in the chat the other night. We had almost 1,200. If we did a live stream at a pizza place, we could probably bring in 300-400 people into that pizza place.
I don't know if we have that kind of poll yet.
400 people show up at a pizza place.
I mean, if we
that would
picked
be so
a
sick.
nice
That would
spot,
be
I
ridiculous.
mean,
I'm throwing this out there.
Should we try it and see how many people show up at the pizza place?
Wait, we should do
My buddy Jeet owns Mountain Mike's. He owns like he's a
clear the
franchisee.
restaurant out, take it over for 3 hours.
Mike's is down to party. They I remember being pretty rowdy in there in high school.
They got their own room. I mean, it's in Concord. I don't know how many people want to come to Concord,
on Clayton
California.
Road?
Yeah, the one on Clayton Road.
You mean the one right over there by
Clayton and Tree,
across the street from? There's one over.
It's next to the bowling alley. It's next to the bowling alley on Clayton Road.
Okay, further down there's that one. Okay,
Mountain Mike's.
Wait,
he also owns one on Golf Club Road over by DVC
Clayton Valley, right there around the corner from there.
By what's that high school over there?
Which one? By where?
What's the high school that's on Clayton Road? Not Clayton Road, on Contra Costa Boulevard.
Contra Costa?
By the mall.
Talking about, by the mall? Pleasant Hill High?
No.
This is called Talking Streets of the Bay.
The streets of the Bay.
The college or the high school?
It's right the high school that's right next door to DVC.
College Park. Yeah, College Park. Yeah.
Yeah. So my buddy Jeet owns the Mountain Mike's over there as well. So
okay. That's over by DVC. Yeah, we could
get together over there.
What about this?
Yeah.
Niners go to the Super Bowl. Everyone that's in the chat, or everyone that's every Krueg Show fan that's going to be at the Super Bowl, I hope there's going to be a good amount. That place, they're like the number one pizza place in the country is in Phoenix. I don't know how close that is to the stadium, but Pizzeria Bianco, I have wanted to go there for a very long time.
Yeah, I'll rent out Del Boca Vista. We'll have a party.
Yeah.
Part of me would love to go to the Super Bowl for the week, but not be there for the game.
That would be the move.
What I mean?
Watch it on my big screen here.
Seriously.
Do
you have a big screen?
We're probably
let me see the screen.
65. I could get it's a 60.
How many seats do you got?
Right there. There's wait. Hold on.
Might need to upgrade that TV.
Is there any way you could upgrade?
There's a TV right there, big screen. We got 4 recliners, and
I want to meet the neighbors though.
Yeah, for everyone that doesn't realize the context, Danny lives in Arizona. So
right, I live 7 minutes, maybe 5 to 7 minutes from. You
know where I want to hang with Danny is.
Wow,
we gotta hang with Danny during spring training.
Wait,
there we go.
Yes, and I feel like you could probably make
how many hits do you think we would get? How many views would we get on Giants spring training clubhouse video? I mean, because they haven't lost any games. We know they're going to be horse shit.
I put it for my credential today. Hopefully, he'll get it with the spring training. Yeah.
Robert Boyd says, "Hey, do you guys think Brian Greasy might get a look for a head coaching job? No chance.
No, not yet.
Coordinator.
He could be an OC, but that has turned out to be a really good move. I mean, when it was made, it was like, he doesn't have any experience.
He's been fire.
Mario Merrill says, Danny, was that a water pick that you had on there?
Oh, with my tooth, it was a Sonic. I have a different water pick. I have a Sonic. Yeah, it was it's funny if
you don't want to just use elbow grease and just.
You couldn't see the color of it, could you?
No. Oh, damn. What?
Damn,
well, here long. Okay, I went to San Diego to the Padres Giants game over in July last year, and I took mine. I have a one that's blue and one that's pink, and I left mine at the hotel room. So because I bought it at Costco, hers, one.
Yeah,
So
yes, I did the same thing. I gave one to my grandmother.
Yeah. So I left the thing, San Diego. I called over we couldn't find it. Housekeeping's not in. So anyway, never showed up. So now I'm using the pink one, my wife's. But we each have our own brush,
I've definitely had like my electric toothbrush, like mouth.
It's kind of weird because I was trying to make sure, I was trying to hold it so you couldn't check it. Like you didn't see a pink one, but I don't care.
You got that kind of confidence. You can rock the pink one.
That's right.
G. Martinez says you guys got to get a Traeger.
What is that?
Barbecue with it's a barbecue.
Oh, those those
one. Oh, it's an awesome barbecue.
Those are great. I've seen those things.
Larry,
Val Ramos, he says I love the fucking show, guys. I love how Val Ramos is dropping F-bombs at 11:30.
Let's go, Val. Wait,
yeah.
Larry, do you think we'd have to work the game?
I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that we get to go, and then I'd love to go.
Watching the game on TV.
You go there during the week.
Like if we go, we're gonna live stream just around the clock.
Well, I bet the TalkSport guys would let us use their space that they have carved off for themselves. They have a bunch of chairs and stuff. I bet they would let us like do some Krueg show stuff over there.
I just want to go live for like the entire week there. We'll just start doing all kinds of stuff.
Do you think we could
go to like a batting cage and hit balls? You can film. I can hit line drives.
Do you think you have the juice to get us into some of those like Super Bowl parties where we?
No doubt. Lee Steinberg already reached out to me and said, "Do you want to come to the Super Bowl party?"
I mean, do you think Caleb would? Or I guess I shouldn't be talking about people we work with, but whatever. But do you think they have the juice to hook up some sick Niner? Are
you asking if the people that we work with have juice? Yes.
Yeah, I think
they've got.
You have some.
You like the juice? The juice is good. I get you the juice. That's from SNL. You guys ever see the SNL?
Late tonight, but
Ashley says, "Hi guys, coming in late, but I hope we beat the Cowboys. Dallas looked good tonight. How you doing, Ashley?"
What's up, Ashley? It's been a while. Wait, also, Larry, how sick was it that the Spanish broadcast? So, like, Dan, you know how like everyone, all these like you're not allowed to talk at all. Like, you're not allowed to cheer. You can't show any emotion in the press box. So, like, these girls were up from Mexico, and they were
they were crushing cervezas.
They were just crushing cervezas, and they were like, "Oh yeah, man! Like, we started the game over in the press area."
Seattle, you're talking about?
What?
No, this was at the Niner game. Yeah, in the Seattle game.
And they were like, we were like about to like we had to like keep ourselves from screaming and like just because they're like totally react like fans, I guess. That's like the culture over there. And so they just went and watched it from the Spanish broadcast booth, and it sounded like everyone was just drinking beers and like just being fans. It sounded awesome.
Now people are in the chat talking food. Planet Serpo, chicken apple sausage with a bagel and some eggs.
Hey, you get going food, man. That's
420 Savage, Chicago style. Okay, let me give you a pizza place. Now this is one of the best pizza places I've been to. I'm a connoisseur of pizza places for like buffalo wings. Like
I need to know this knowledge. Yes.
I don't want to just have pizza. I want to have some buffalo wings. So there's a restaurant in Midtown in Sacramento called Chicago Fire. And the pizza's good. It's like Chicago deep dish pizza. It's like Uno's or, Zachary's or any of the, the that of, the kind of Chicago style pizza. But they have these wings and you can get them breaded or naked. Oh my God. Unbelievable buffalo wings.
I did a lot of research in
Chicago Fire Midtown in Sac.
It's kind of hard to find good ones, honestly, in the Bay Area. Like when I was in LA, I did a lot of deep diving to find the best wings near me. And I found a place and I just went there every single Sunday. And it was just the best thing ever. Honestly, I can't really find great wings. So maybe these Amici's but that one you just said is in Sac.
Yeah. Great wings. G. Martinez says, I eat my wings with rice.
I had wings last night with rice.
Did you?
Oh,
where
good.
at?
Yeah. Here, the house.
Is there Hooters? Is Hooters still cooking or is Hooters done?
Hooters is definitely still cooking.
Because their wings were just awesome.
I think the last time I saw Hooters in like a sort of a, national way was do you remember that movie with Denzel Washington where the train Unstoppable? where the train was like a runaway monster train, and it was he had to stop it. It was pretty sick.
Monster Slam?
It was a monster slam. No, but it was going to monster slam this whole town, and they had to clutch it.
Do we still have the Monster Slam?
Oh, we do. I'll play it.
Yeah, we got to play the Monster
Slam. Pull that up. But anyway, Denzel Washington.
We haven't busted out the Monster Slam in a long time.
Yeah, no. Playoff times. We got to wait till when playoff time comes. We get hit that thing.
Look at this one. HOA parties at Dan's for the Super Bowl.
Yes,
let's rent out the clubhouse.
Good, we rent out the clubhouse.
The punchline.
Oh, there's a hole in the roof. Who knew?
Yeah, so Denzel Washington's kids in that movie are both like 18 and like in high school, and they work at a Hooters. And I rewatched that movie recently, and I was like, whoa, that doesn't seem like it would fly now.
I got a good joke for you guys. This is a true story. Rye, I texted it to you. Pull up Kylan. I hope she didn't kill me for this, but
look at this one. Larry Radnich says Larry wants to meet the lady who got mad at Dan about the dogs taking turds in the communal space. Yes, I do, Larry. Yeah. Now that's a guy who knows the show.
Yes. This is classic. Kylan tweeted out tonight. I think she's okay with it if we put it on the show, since she tweeted it out. She's got a ton of followers.
Oh, yeah.
You know how many followers Kylan has on Twitter?
How many?
Dude, don't Twitter shame me, bro.
Let me see. I mean, I know Larry's got 30,000 plus.
Twitter sucks.
Who would you rather follow on Twitter, me or Kylan?
Oh, Kylan has 13,000 followers. Okay, but she put this out today, and
here we go. Mike Vass says Chicago Fire on K Street in Sac. It's awesome.
Yeah,
there you go, Mike.
Graves gave me a recommendation.
Look at that. Fist in the air.
So, Ryan, are you able to pull it up and read it, or should I just read it?
I mean, maybe you just read it, and then
it's kind of funny because it's a Twitter. So Kylan tweets out today. She says, "Friends, if you need a laugh."
I saw that, but didn't click expand. It seemed like too much reading.
Yeah, you don't. I sent it to you. You could actually put it up, but how long does it take to put up? Because it's good effects when it.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'll just pull it up then.
Larry, you'll get a kick out of this. This is from our good friend Kylan Mills from
Krueg Show OG.
And she's been on the Krueg Show after Warrior games with Cy.
And she knows her hoops. She used to cover Kentucky hoops.
Yeah.
And Charlie, her husband, works for Channel 5 and 95.7 The Game. Good dude as well.
Okay, so don't put that. Don't show the white yet. Don't show the white.
Oh,
drop that. Just show the blue, and then click on.
Oh, it's just showing the
whole thing.
Yeah, it's really trying to show the whole thing.
All right, I'll read it. Then you put up the white.
Okay, actually, I can do it. Okay, I just did a lot of zoom in. Does that work?
Yeah. Okay. Just read. Okay.
Friends, if you need a laugh, I was working with a new producer on a game today, and I accidentally texted this. I was typing fast, realized my phone had autocorrected, popped right as I hit send. Why did it have to fit perfectly into the sentence like that? I may never recover.
Now open the white. This is what she texted.
Hey, I pooped in the production room and no one was there. I thought if you need me.
That's so good.
Did you imagine the guy reading that?
That is awesome. Oh, that is awesome.
Sport for putting that out there.
It all makes sense.
Yeah. Good old
G-Code Travels Vlog POV. He says, which current linebacker reminds you of Bill Romanowski? Mike Milano for the Bills. Why? Did you see that hit on the sidelines right in front of the Dolphin bench where he smoked the Dolphins player and he was right out of bounds? It was Skylar Thompson. He hit Skylar Thompson out of bounds, right on the line. That was Romo, right on the line. You know what I mean? That Romo walked right up to the line, occasionally would go cross it, but man, he lived on that line. And he was aggressive as hell. Milano for Buffalo reminds me a little bit of Romo. Do you guys have one?
That's a tough one today.
It is hard. Yeah,
it's just a different position.
Keena Turner and Hooch makes a donation. Love the Pizzeria Uno mention. I grew up around the corner from the now defunct Lombard location in the city. Missed that spot. Are you kidding me? I remember when that one came there because my mom was from Chicago. She's no longer with us, but she's like, "Oh, let's go check out Uno's Chicago style pizza." And it was kind of a new thing. I mean, I really hadn't had too much Chicago style pizza. Now, it's not Pizzeria Uno was good, but it wasn't like Gino's East or any real Chicago establishment. Lou Malnati's or something like that. But it was, for Chicago, it was Chicago style pizza. It wasn't quite like that, but it was really good.
But by the way, I got to say about Tony's, I love Tony's, but I do have growing concerns that, I hear about these stories about like Chicago pizza, and like sometimes people say like, oh, Lou Malnati, like you have to know the right one to go to.
Yeah.
But a lot, like the quality starts to get kind of, spaced out. So
yeah.
I'm worried a little bit about Tony's, like, the one in Walnut Creek is pretty good, the Slice House, but like then I'll go to like stadiums like the Giants game, and it's just like a pretty not Tony's pizza that's being served at the Giants game under their brand.
I don't think I've even been to Tony's. Where is that? Is that a chain?
Yeah, it's in North Beach. It's like it got a lot of pub because it's considered like one, the like kind of consensus number one big name pizza place in San Francisco. And there's like the Slice House, but then there's also like you can go in and like there's all these different
Giorgio's on Clement. You ever been to Giorgio's on Clement by Arguello?
I have not been. I've been to like maybe 3, and I don't remember the other 2's names.
There was a great one in the Sunset District called Piro's Pizzeria. It was on Taraval in like 32nd by the 7-Eleven. And we used to go there all the time. Piro's Pizza, man. When my parents would order like a Piro's special, I mean, this thing was just loaded so high. It was ridiculous. I mean, it was just unbelievably great.
Oh, I was going to say also, Larry, this guy's name is Keena Turner and Hooch. Do you think we could get Keena Turner on the show?
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
Easily, I feel like, right?
Yeah. We'll get Keena. I'll send him a text tomorrow. We got this one from G Code Travels Vlog POV. Sorry, 49er current linebackers. Oh, of the Niner current linebackers?
Oh, who does
Aziz. Romo loved to deal the pain, and Greenlaw does too, but Aziz is just a violent player. So I would say Aziz is the most Romo-like.
I mean, Greenlaw, it's just like Greenlaw does so many other things, but like even that opening game for Chicago in the rain, like he just so many penalties. Like
How great's Greenlaw, by the way? How great is Greenlaw? Greenlaw didn't make the Pro Bowl? Really? Come on, man.
He's finally Micah Parsons. Just stop it. He's an edge. Don't put him as a. You're screwing. You're screwing over.
Greenlaw a free agent? He's a free agent, right?
No, they paid him.
No,
they paid him the best deal ever. They paid him before the season, and then he's only gotten better. Same thing with Mitch Wishnowsky. Like we don't talk about him much, but he's been freaking awesome this year.
Somebody asked on last night's or one of the earlier streams if we would target Mitch this week on the interview. And I said, yeah. And I said, Ryan knows him kind of. Hey, Spider 8 says Gaspari's on Geary is a good place. He says, RIP to Piro's on Taravel and that puffy crust. Oh, yeah. They had Hey, Spider 8 knows. He's been there. Al Shair's a free agent.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, honestly, if I was him, it's tough because I do think he fits this team so well, but I would almost go. He could go somewhere and be a star and get really paid.
I asked Greenlaw the other day in the locker room. I gave him that question of if you're in a bar fight, you can have one guy covering your ass. Who are you gonna have? And it was hilarious too because he's looking at me the whole time, right? And then I ask him this question about who he would want covering himself in a bar fight, and he kind of pivots, and you see his head turn, and he looks into the rest of the room. He's like, "Who would I go with?" And he goes, "Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Aziz." He's like, "I know he'd ride up or something like that. He'd show up for me." And I'm like,
okay. How sick would it be though if next year like Aziz got paid somewhere else, and then Marcelino McCrary Ball just was just
Steps up.
also just a freaking dog.
Marcelino's a good ball player.
He's gonna be good. He's gonna
is.
be. What
He
they
is.
call him Muscle Man.
Do they?
Yeah, because he's so yoked.
He's 220, and he's played safety at Indiana. But man, he can really play.
Is it told?
Bobe TV makes a donation. He said Niners tend to start slow, but I think they're going to come out with a bang on Sunday. Are the Cowboys replacing their kicker on Sunday? I think they would have if he had missed that last kick.
Yeah, that was a vote to get him back in there. You feel like, okay, we got to get this guy's
You
confidence
guys
back.
know, everyone in the world knows. It's like when you're watching the Chargers collapse this weekend. It's like everyone knows that it's happening. Like this is the Chargers DNA. You do not have a kicker make that many mistakes in a playoff game, and it doesn't come back to bite you. That guy is going to choke. He is going to choke, even if it's not versus the Niners. He will choke. He will cost them a playoff game.
Well, hopefully
right,
he's not in a position.
3 hours in.
To
3 hours
choke,
in. Oh, we didn't even talk about the Padres yet. But the Padres, how about this? Now, this is the story, Danny. I got this one for you. The Padres signed the number 1 international prospect today. His name's Ethan Salas. He's a catcher. Right. They gave him $5.6 million. He's only 16. The Giants signed the 15th rated international prospect. His name's Rainer Arias. And for those who want to take a look at Rainer Arias, he's a real willowy, long-armed, athletic-looking outfielder.
Some people
with a beautiful right-handed swing. And the Giants signed him for $2.8 million. And I put a video out on Twitter. So if you follow me at Sports Larry K, look for my video.
Yeah, he looks pretty good. He's only
Arias.
16 and a half, or a little over 16 and a half. So he'll be hopefully I want to see the Giants get one of these guys like Acuna or Soto or somebody that hits it
land
to the
a big time guy
20 that makes it at 20. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Giants signed 23 international players, 11 from Venezuela, 8 from the Dominican. So the Giants love Venezuela. They really do. They go after Venezuelan players.
Isn't that where Pablo's from? Venezuela? Was
Pablo, I think, is from the Dominican. Let me double check that. Gregor Blanco, I know, is from Venezuela. And the Giants had very many Venezuelan players, but I don't know if Pablo is from Venezuela. That's a good one, I think.
By the way, guys, I have, just before I forget it, because I was thinking about this last night, this popped into my head. So if Purdy's just like, I mean, I'm operating as if he is the guy. And he's going to be like a huge name in Bay Area sports over the next 10 years. Right. But could you has there ever been just like, if you think about how lucky the Bay Area fan
Venezuela, Pablo. Sorry about
that. The fact that they got to root for their superstar in baseball was Buster Posey, the guy that won them World Series. And he's just the best, nicest guy ever. Then Steph Curry with the Warriors, just best, nicest guy ever. And Purdy is just seems like just a great freaking dude. He just seems awesome, super nice, super smart, totally cool, great teammate. It's just that is pretty blessed.
Pretty blessed.
No question.
Yeah,
I mean, it's amazing, really.
It is pretty cool. I'll say this before we head out: the Bleacher Report put out a a thing today. Actually, a couple of days ago, each Major League Baseball's team's most MLB ready prospect entering 2023, and you see
Harrison.
All these guys.
There's no way this guy.
Guess who they have?
All these guys.
Giants guy Cole Waits. Cole Waits, a middle reliever. Oh my goodness!
I read that the Padres are all in on a Shohei Ohtani free agent pursuit.
Yeah. The only way the Giants have any chance of getting Shohei is a trade. They are not going to win a free agent battle. No way. They shouldn't even bid on him at free unless they're willing to pay like $75 million a year.
Just through it again.
I mean,
that is the Giants' struggle though. They don't have players, they have cash, and yet they cannot get dragged through another high profile free agent pursuit, and they can't focus on that. I mean, they're in a rough spot. It's like they're gonna have to. There ain't no shortcuts, baby. You're gonna have to draft and develop and trade and maneuver your way from where you're at to in contention. And
I put it together a little.
I don't know if Farhan is gonna be able to do it. I have a feeling he'll get dumped before he does it.
You know what, guys? The other thing that all those three guys have in common as Niner Gang Wolfcast as Bay Area culture, fire emoji, like hang loose sign. They all are like kind of, and I'm not going to say underdogs, but none of them are like supremely talented. Most of the times, like if you have a guy that is, a guy like a MVP level guy that, takes your team to a championship, they're like freaks in something.
Like Ja Moran or something.
Yeah. Posey, not a freak. Never hit more than 25 home runs,
right?
But he just was solid, dude. And Curry, same thing, not at all a physical.
You know the interesting thing? I mean, I know some people are going to bristle at this. I find it interesting. They're all outwardly men of faith.
Yes.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? And all very kind of like mature beyond their years.
Yes.
They always said that about all three guys. And
so mature. Like think about Posey as a rookie. It reminds me of Purdy.
Oh yeah. Same face kind of almost.
Yeah.
Really.
That was really the thing is I was thinking, I was like, who does Purdy remind me of? And I was like, Buster. Honestly, he reminds me of Buster.
Yeah. Buster has that. He doesn't show it. He's not cocky, but he had that swag.
Yeah. He had that swag. Yeah. He doesn't have to prove it because he's just so secure in themselves, just so secure in themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
one last one on the Niners in this game against Seattle. I was looking at the snap count today, and I want your guys' thought on this. 48 snaps for McCaffrey, 14 for Elijah Mitchell. Does that surprise you guys that it was so heavy McCaffrey over Mitchell? And do you think that that's going to continue against Dallas, despite the fact Mitchell had this, really good game against Dallas last year?
I do. I think they're going to run at Dallas three ways. I think they're going to hit him with McCaffrey for some quick burst and some quick passes, get him soften the line, and then they're going to blast him with Mitchell and Debo. I think you're going to see Debo get 6-7 carries.
By the way, what a
Debo looked pretty quick down the sideline, didn't he?
Remember, like we were all kind of talking, like, "Oh, is Debo lost?" It's like, no, these guys, Debo, Kid, like they've been there, done that. These guys are vets now. They've had a taste of winning in the playoffs, so it's not that they flip a switch, but it's like Debo, this is going to be as good as we're going to see Debo. Debo was unreal in last year's playoffs. He was just carrying their whole offense. It was like, oh, we need 10 yards. Let's hand it to Debo.
And he doesn't have to be the guy. How much more is he? I mean, he's healthy. He's fresh. His legs are – it's kind of like when the Warriors went into the playoffs last year. They were, fresh. Debo has got fresh legs. He missed, 4 games?
It's interesting, too. I was asking some of the players about Debo, and I think it was George Odom who was saying that Debo is like just one of the best football players. Or no, maybe it was Charvarius that said it. We were going through the Niner receivers, right? And I'm like, hey, give me a thought on each receiver. And we got to Debo, and he's like, Debo is not just a good receiver. He's one of the best football players on this team. And I think what he meant by that is just Debo's like one of those guys you can trust in big games. He's going to show up. He really plays the game to win. He's really an incredible competitor. He'll take it as a running back. He'll run routes as a receiver. He'll line up as an H-back. He'll do whatever it takes. And I think he's got that kind of warrior mentality. And if the money's on the table, he's going to rise to the occasion. And I think we've seen it in the past. I think we saw it this week with Debo. I thought he was, to me, Debo's performance Saturday was the biggest surprise to me of the game.
Yeah, wait. Also, Eddie K says, Ryan, we never said if Debo has lost it. That was only you saying that. It was. I actually never engaged in it, but it was. I was just acknowledging
a little
the
heavy.
Bay Area sphere. Yeah, the Bay Area sphere. People were talking about it. Like when that's a discussion, that's all I'm saying. Like that was a discussion happening.
Yeah, I mean, he looked. I don't know. It's hard to gauge Debo because he has such a naturally thick physique. He's got the build of a running back, and yet he is a wide receiver, and yet he has skills like a running back. So, you know what I mean? It's like he's an interesting guy. Other guys, if you looked at him, you'd say, oh, God, the guy looks out of shape. For him, out of shape, I don't know. I mean, watching him go the distance down the sideline, he's got plenty of scoot. He's got plenty of speed. He ran away in that play. I mean, he was a little skillful for how he kind of faked like he was going to cut it back inside and then hit the sideline because he knew he had like some extra coverage there. There was a Niner player in between, and it was hard for the defender to get to him. So
he's so good at towing the sideline. How the hell does he do? Like, it's like a tightrope. Like, it doesn't even make sense how he does it.
You know what this is starting to remind me of a little bit? The Niners, how they're getting healthy and Debo's fresh. It feels like a little bit like the 94 team that just started peaking and pummeling. I mean, they're playoff opponents. They beat the Bears 44-15, then the Cowboys 38-28, then the Chargers 49-26. It would not surprise me to see them come out and just really put it to the Cowboys, because Debo is going to take this to another level, because he can play all out, and because he's got so many other weapons too. And so he doesn't, what I'm saying by it is he doesn't have to be conservative with his body in a way. And I think,
he's not the only weapon. I mean, he can let it all hang out.
Exactly.
The other thing I really like about this game, the way it sets up, is that the 49ers didn't play some awesome, overpowering game against Seattle where they weren't tested. They were losing at halftime. They had to dig deep. That, in a lot of ways, I think is the wake-up call that what happens when you don't come out playing your best ball in the first quarter. Right. I think the 49ers are going to fire a big effort here. And I don't think they're going to start slow. I think that they're going to, I think this last game was kind of the let's get it revved up, where Dallas and a chance to go to the championship game. I don't know. I think 49ers are going to fire a better effort than what we saw against Seattle.
All right, guys. Well, it's
all right. Good stuff, guys. It's midnight. We're 3 hours and 10 minutes into the live stream. Final thought as we go around the room here. Got a final thought on the night. Warriors lose. Dallas lose. Dallas wins. It's now Dallas Niners. Final thought.
Well, I think you said Warriors lose. I think you meant
Warriors won and they lost last night.
Last night, won tonight. Yeah, this afternoon. My final thought is this is going to be fun. It's going to be a fun week. It's going to be a heck of a game. The atmosphere is going to be electric. It's going to be, I think the Niners I think Kyle will have them totally ready. And I don't think he has to do too much, but he's not going to in any way let off like this is a cakewalk. I think he knows that they're in for a game, and they're going to come out and play maybe the best game of the year.
Rye?
Ooh, this one's, I know that probably come game time, I'm going to start being a little bit nervous, but as I'm it seems like still a long time until that game. So at this point, I'm like not quite as emotional about it. And I feel like the Niners are going to, I'd say that the Niners probably should be like 6-point favorites. Like they've won, what is this, 11 games in a row now. I just think that that Dallas actually is a team that, if this Niners team didn't exist or too many injuries or something, they could go to the Super Bowl, because I think they could beat Philly, and the NFC is just not that stacked this year.
I think the winner of this game is going to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, I think Dallas Eagles are so familiar, it'd be like 50-50, but I think the Niners are just like a better version of them in every way. And I just think they're tougher. And it feels like the Niners have been kind of cruising to these sort of blowouts, and that in a really high leverage game like this, I think Shanahan's going to have some stuff up his sleeve. Like, he's going to break out those few plays that he won't, they've been practicing all year probably, but he hasn't wanted to use any because he hasn't wanted to put any of it on tape. So I think there's going to be. I think the Niners kind of consistently control the game.
I think Kyle Shanahan can't lose to a Mike McCarthy coach team. I really believe that, and it'll be Shanahan against Dan Quinn. You know, who we worked with.
We didn't talk about that. But
yeah, we'll get more into that as we get closer to the matchup. Niner Gang Wolfcast says, "Damn, Krug, you passed 10,000 with flying colors, already at 11,200. We are actually 2 subscribers away from 11,250. So we are on our way. So if you're one of the 529 people still hanging in the chat 3 hours and 13 minutes into the live stream, 1, I just want to say I appreciate every single one of you. 2, if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe.
I know there's at least 1 or 2 that have.
There's got to be at least 1 or 2 out there that haven't subscribed that could subscribe. So if you haven't hit subscribe, please do. And 2 people just did. It's now we're at 11,200.
And there's actually 3 more. I know.
Yeah, Danny knows there's 3 more, and he's going to start naming them in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, John, come on.
But yeah, 251. So maybe you were right. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to be, tomorrow's our one off day before we get down for Niners on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'll be on 95.7 The Game on Thursday morning from 9 to noon, sitting in for Mark Willard with Dan Dibley. So look for me on Thursday. Tomorrow, I think right around 6:30 or so, I'm going to join Vish on his channel. And so check that out. And Vish is going to join us on our channel next later in the week, like Friday or Saturday. But Vish tomorrow on his channel, and who knows, maybe some other surprises coming up on the channel. G Code Travels Vlog POV, last super chat of the night. Larry, can you interview Tabor Pepper too? Well, we've already interviewed Tabor Pepper.
Yeah, it was a great one too.
Yeah, he was really, really good. And I would encourage all of you to go to the Krueg Show page on YouTube and check out that interview. But you know what? If he's hanging around this week, just because you made the request, I will try to fulfill that and get him a second time. So Tabor Pepper, though, good player, borderline Pro Bowl caliber long snapper.
104 right, here at Del Boca Vista. I'm going to get fined. I got to get off.
All righty. Hope everybody has a great night. We'll see you later on the Krueg Show.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you won't get exactly what you asked for. Careful, whatever you bring me getting handled. I answer to no one. I don't need